Chapter 692. That's insignificant. Sure enough, a supporting role is a supporting role. Tang Bao got up from the ground and felt the eyes on her face. She stabilized her inner strangeness, raised her eyes, and nodded slightly to Di Hao Ian. The corners of her mouth were slightly raised, which was neither thick nor light, with his unique manly charm. Young Emperor, you were acting as yourself just now. Sima, he came over with joy on his face. Di Hao Ian didn't speak, and his eyes were fixed on Tang Bao's face. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Ian with a surprised look and turned away. If she didn't have acting skills, how could she teach Cheng Ju and others? Cheng Yuexin stepped forward and said to Sima with a smile, "Screenwriter Sima, I don't know who can enter your eyes. I'll announce it later. Why don't you announce it now? After all, I just made a bet with Tangu. If I lose, I will kneel to her. If I win, she will find a man to kiss. Isn't it interesting?" Cheng Yuexin asked with a smile. Wang Xiaodao has a big opinion on Tang Bao, who let her always spoil her own good things. He immediately said, "This is good, this is good." Sima couldn't help smiling, looked at Di Hao Ian next to him, and asked, "Young Emperor, would you like to see the acting skills of these two actors? There is a recorded video." Tang Bao cried in her heart, "Hey screenwriter, this person is not professional in this field, is he?" But Di Hao Ian really want to watch the video. While waiting, Cheng Yuexin stood beside Tang Bao. "Why are you afraid of losing? I tell you, don't be afraid. You will lose. If I really lose, I'm willing to lose," Tang Bao said coldly. She believed that in the performance just now, Cheng Ju was slightly better. Even if Di Hao Ian's sudden appearance disrupted some of their thoughts, Cheng Ju did not have much hindrance in the performance. "It seems that you are very confident in yourself," Cheng Yuexin sneered. Tang Bao did not say anything. Di Hao Ian seemed to have finished watching the video. Sima he stood up and announced, "Cheng Ju acted very well in this audition, but..." Tang Bao frowned. "Yao Yao is more suitable for the female lead." Tang Bao was stunned, but there was no expression on his face. "Scriptwriter, are you blind? Wow, that's great. I'm the female lead. Sister Cheng, I'm so happy," Yao Yao exclaimed. Cheng Yuexin is also happy, but she is more happy that she defeated Tang Bao. She faces her and asks, "I think you are too confident in yourself. How about it? With me around, don't even think about getting that role. Didn't you say so yourself? You're willing to admit defeat?" Wang Xiaodao asked, "Does that mean Tangu is going to kiss a man?" This was Tang Bao's first time in the entertainment industry, and he had lost the most. Furthermore, he had lost in a baffling manner. However, he had already accepted Cheng Yuexin's bet. In front of everyone, he could not act shamelessly. When Cheng Ju saw Tangu being forced, she was anxious and angry. She stepped forward and said, "I'm the one who wants to audition for the female lead. If I lose, I'll naturally bear the responsibility. So let me do it." Yao Yao sneered and said, "Isn't it too easy for you to kiss a man?" After saying that, the people next to her laughed out loud. Cheng Ju's face turned red with humiliation. Just as she was about to say something, Tang Bao pulled her hand. Cheng Ju looked at Tang Bao in confusion. Tang Bao looked around and said, "Okay, I'll kiss you. It's just a kiss. You won't die. Then I'll choose." Just as Tang Bao was choosing who he wanted to kiss. "Wait a minute." Wang Xiaodao stopped him in time. "Director Wang, Tangu has agreed. You won't help her, will you?" Cheng Yuexin asked. "I just want to know, can all the men present be chosen?" Wang Xiaodao asked. Then he turned to Di Hao Ian. "Young Emperor, are you participating? This bet is very interesting." Di Hao Ian said coldly. "Then why don't we choose you, young Emperor?" As soon as Wang Xiaodao finished speaking, Sima, he wanted to kick him. He still didn't know who young Emperor was. If he let Di Hao Ian kiss a man, wouldn't Tangu be dead for sure? And this Wang Xiaodao, I'm afraid his good reputation as a famous director will be completely ruined. Whatever. When Tang Bao heard Wang Xiaodao's words, his mind was already blank. Now Di Hao Ian said, "Whatever again." Wasn't it just an attitude of letting Wang Xiaodao choose? No, she absolutely couldn't kiss Di Hao Ian. She didn't want to either. I think I didn't agree when we started the bet. You can choose who to kiss, right? Tang Bao asked. Chung Yueshin could see Tang Ji's rejection. The more he was like this, the more she wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. Tang Gu, even if you didn't say it, you didn't say it was impossible, did you? Or do you want to act shamelessly? Tang Bao would rather kiss anyone at the scene than Di Haoyan. However, it seemed that the candidate had been decided by them. If she really kissed Di Haoyan wouldn't find out her true identity, would he? Until now, Di Haoyan hadn't exposed her identity, which meant that he didn't see it. Otherwise, with his overbearing nature, he would have directly taken her away. Therefore, since she couldn't escape, she had to act naturally. Otherwise, it would arouse Di Haoyan's suspicion. Okay, then let's do it. Tang Bao exhaled deeply in his heart. Then he walked towards Di Haoyan expressionlessly and stood in front of him. Standing in front of him, she realized how obvious the height difference between the two people was. Even if she was a man now, she would become petite in front of him. Such a contrast made the Fujoshi not far away very excited. Wow, it's so obvious. I'm looking forward to it. Yes, it must be very picturesque for such two eye-catching people to kiss. To be able to see two top-notch handsome men kissing, I can die without regrets. Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyan in front of him and said in a low voice, "Sorry to offend you." Then she began to move her face closer. However, as soon as she moved, she felt Di Haoyan's hand reaching out and clasping the back of her head with his big palm. When he was about to get close, the strength of his hand increased instantly, which made the two people closer together. This action was so familiar. The familiar breath with a strong force enveloped her whole body. Tang Bao felt that he was suddenly completely covered, without a trace left out. It seemed that as long as Di Haoyan was willing, he could completely devour her, leaving no room for her. Tang Bao's heartbeat was so unstable, and she tried not to panic when she breathed. She didn't expect that after being separated from Di Haoyan again, there would be such a small interlude. Oh my God, why does the scene of them kissing look so beautiful? Me too. I used to think that men's kisses were disgusting, but they didn't. Why? That's right. I actually had a reaction when I saw it. Chung Ju's face turned pale as she watched. Chapter 693. It's all because of her. It's almost done. Tang Bao turned his face away and exhaled the breath in his chest. He took a few steps back and got away from Di Haoyan. From beginning to end, she didn't open her eyes and didn't look at Di Haoyan after it was over. Instead, she said to Sima He, "It's a pity that we didn't cooperate this time. We'll work harder in the future." Okay, I'm looking forward to our next cooperation. Tang Bao nodded slightly and turned to leave. Chung Ju immediately followed. Di Haoyan, who had been standing there for a long time, turned his gaze and followed the figure in the suit. Then he also left. The female stars in the venue didn't seem to have finished the topic. I remember now. This young master can't be that young master, can he? Which one? T Group. Are you bullshitting? How can the young master of T Group come to a small place like our entertainment circle? That's true. While sitting in the car, Tang Bao's cell phone rang. When he saw that it was Chung Yueshin, he directly pressed it and threw the phone aside. She could see through this woman's plan at a glance. Unfortunately, she was disappointed. Chung Ju, who was sitting next to him, was very guilty. "Brother Tang, I'm sorry, I lost. I didn't expect that either." For some reason, Tang Bao always felt that it had something to do with Di Haoyan. But why did he have such an idea? It couldn't be. If he really recognized him, he wouldn't be so calm, right? Tang Bao turned around and saw that Chung Ju was still looking guilty. Thinking of what he said just now, she thought that he didn't expect her to lose. Your acting skills are better than Yao Yao's. There's no doubt about that. You didn't lose in acting. You acted very well. If it's your problem, I'll accuse you. So don't think too much. Without that role, I'll work harder and find my own problem. But what? There's a supermarket in front. Shall I go in and buy you a bottle of mouthwash? Chung Ju said embarrassedly. She was even afraid that Tang Bao would have some psychological trauma. So this was the reason why she felt guilty. If she had to drink mouthwash and brush her teeth after kissing Di Hao Ian, her mouth would have been ruined long ago. Don't worry, it's fine. Are you really okay? Tango is not gay. How could he be okay? Look at my face. Do I look like something's wrong? It doesn't look like it. Then it's fine. As soon as she entered the office, her vision blurred. Someone pounced on her. Tang Bao dodged quickly, and Chengju, who was behind him, was hugged tightly. Tang Bao breathed a sigh of relief and turned to walk to his desk. Why are you the one I'm hugging? When Meng Shi saw who he was hugging, he immediately had a look of disdain. Chengju was speechless. I didn't ask you to hug me, right? Meng Shi immediately let go of Chengju, turned around, and shook his head. Gah! Tang Bao suddenly had goosebumps all over his body. Good, did you miss me? You're definitely not thinking about me, right? I miss you so much. You're really too heartless. Am I not your little sweetheart? Meng Shi walked to the desk and squatted in front of it like a little wolf dog. His eyes were cute, as if he could see a tail wagging behind him. Tang Bao took a deep breath. Speak human language. I've already finished filming, and you don't even go to see me? Do you not care about me at all? Do you only have Chengju in your eyes? Meng Shi's face was full of anger as he accused him aggrievedly. He even pointed at Chengju, who was at a loss. Chengju sat on the sofa, looked at Meng Shi, and then looked at Tang Bao. She chose to remain silent. She was already used to it. Anyway, it was not the first time this had happened. Tang Bao sighed, put down the pen in his hand, and looked at him. When you were filming, didn't I go to see you every 2 to 3 days? Only you were treated well, right? She didn't call me. So what did you call me? Can she compare to me? I'm a popular person in your hands. Tang Bao immediately looked at him with a serious face. I treat all the artistes in my hands equally. There's no such thing as a popular person or not. It's all the same. He was really taking advantage of him more and more. When Meng Shi saw that Tang Bao had become serious, he immediately suppressed his arrogance. He immediately turned into an obedient child and stood there, still looking aggrieved and pouting. Tang Bao looked at him and felt really helpless. The relationship between her and Meng Shi was really a little complicated. 3 years ago, when she had just left Di Hao Ian with her child, she was still dressed as a woman and hiding everywhere. However, she bumped into Meng Shi, who was hiding from his crazy fans. Tang Bao had an impression of Meng Shi, not because of TV, but because of Yu Lianlian. Once, she and Wan Malay went to Yu Lianlian's set to play. At that time, the male lead was Meng Shi. Not only was he in the same movie as the popular movie star Yu Lianlian, but he was also the male lead. This was not because of his good acting skills. It was because of his family background and the backing he had. In other words, he did not want to be a rich second-generation heir and insisted on coming to the entertainment industry to play. He was so bored that his balls hurt. When she bumped into Meng Shi, she was carrying 2 children in her arms. She did not know how Meng Shi fell in love with her and how she caught his eye. At that time, her hands were grabbed by him, and she said with a love-struck expression, "I'm in love, and it's my first love." At that time, Tang Bao was so scared that she ran away. A big star, but there was actually something wrong with her brain. Later, Tang Bao decided to enter the entertainment industry. When she became a manager, she met Meng Shi again, and Meng Shi saw her at first glance. It had to be said that he looked very similar to his first love. Others really thought that was the case, but only Tang Bao knew. What first love? They had only met once. Strictly speaking, it was 2 times. Besides, how many times had Meng Shi been in love? Every time he fell in love, it would be a sensation on Weibo. Everyone knew about it. First love? How shameless was she? At that time, Meng Shi was a big star in the entertainment industry, but he insisted on following a new manager. Others thought that there was something wrong with his brain. But Meng Shi's reason was that he could not find his first love. Having someone who looked similar to his first love could also quench his thirst. One was a man, and the other was a woman. All the people in the human wall were not convinced, but they were convinced by him. Tang Bao did not care. Firstly, she was a newcomer and had just entered the company. If a big star like Meng Shi followed her, it would only be beneficial for her. Secondly, she was now disguised as a man. She did not have to be afraid of being recognized by Meng Shi and being pestered. Tang Bao saw that Meng Shi was still looking at her with a bitter gaze. She could only sigh and say, "It's been hard on you." Meng Shi immediately looked excited. The speed of the change was faster than the weather. Chapter 694. Now that it's over, let's go out for a meal tonight. It's my treat. Don't you know I have children at home? Just have a meal. After that, I'll send you back. It won't take long. By the way, I'll see my Tu Xiao Bao. Your Xiao Bao, what does it have to do with you? Tang Bao murmured in his heart. When I met my first love, she was also holding 2 children in her hands. Is this fate for me? Meng Shi's face is immersed in beautiful memories. You are a big star to like a married young woman. Others will say you have a bad brain. It's just that at that time, I felt dazzled and thought she was good-looking. If you are really with a married young woman, you will have a lot of trouble. And would you like to be a father? What's wrong with having 2 children for free? I'd love to. Meng, she said naturally. Tang Bao pursed his lips and said nothing more. It was not the first time she had tried to reverse Meng Shi's wrong stubbornness. Are you going or not? Are you going or not? Meng, she kept acting like a spoiled child. When Tang Bao was about to lose his patience, Cheng Ju, who had been sitting there looking at his mobile phone, said, "Brother Tang, Cheng Yuexin updated the results of today's audition on Weibo. It immediately achieved the effect of hot search. The official announcement hasn't been made, but she can't wait." Tang Bao said with a slightly calm face. A shameless woman like Cheng Yuexin will fall to the bottom of the valley sooner or later. Meng Shi immediately said with a sharp face. Tang Bao and Cheng Ju both look at Meng Shi and think, Cheng Yuexin is not as shameless as you. The cheekiness is not on the same level at all. You belong to the emperor. What are you all looking at me for? Am I wrong? Yes. Cheng Ju doesn't want to argue with him because of this. In the company, Meng Shi always wanted to be a favorite concubine in the hands of Tang Bao. Therefore, he didn't pay attention to anyone in the company and didn't allow others to be too close to Tang Bao, as if Tang Bao was really his first love. But one thing was for sure. As long as the company was pressured by the outside world, public opinion, Meng Shi was also the first to stand up. He spoke up for the company's people and scolded them. He was very loyal, using the words that he often said. The people in the company should be bullied by the workers. Who did they think they were? These words were very social. Tang Bao opened Weibo. I saw Cheng Yuexin's Weibo. The audition was a success. Concubine Me could only have one female lead. Then, he posted a sexy photo of Yao Yao. Although there was no mention of Yao Yao's name between the lines, this was already self-evident. The fans below were even more excited, as if they were the female lead. I heard that the person who fought with Yao Yao for the female lead was Cheng Ju. Who the hell is Cheng Ju? If it wasn't for Yao Yao, I wouldn't even know who Cheng Ju is. That's right. She's just an invisible little star, yet she wants to audition for the female lead role written by a famous director. Where does she get her confidence from? Fortunately, the director and scriptwriter have sharp eyes. Otherwise, if she is the female lead, the work will be ruined. Let her be the female lead. I will never watch that TV. We will all boycott. I'd rather poke my eyes blind. Tang Bao looked at the comments that spoke righteously of God's will, and his heart was calm. Cheng Ju can be mentioned in the comments under Cheng Yuexin's Weibo, which means that the news was released by Cheng Ju and deliberately let the fans say so to slander Cheng Ju. As he scrolled down, Tang Bao saw the comments about her. I heard that Cheng Ju's agent is an unknown person. Cheng Ju has such mysterious confidence. It must have something to do with her agent. It's true that the ignorant are fearless. I heard that the agent looks like a gigolo. It doesn't have anything to do with Cheng Ju, does it? What's so hard to guess? Everyone knows it. The more he said, the more outrageous it was, the more groundless it was, and the more wanton it was. Tang Bao thought about it and went to his Weibo. Her Weibo generally had no private remarks. It was all related to the company's promotion of the new film. At the moment, there were a lot of comments below. Tang Gu, you are too self-righteous. Can you not insult Yao Yao by letting your newcomer audition for the female lead role of concubine me? These days, it's not enough to rely on means alone. It's also about strength. Don't you know that? What kind of agent is it? It's better to go home early. If people with such brains can be agents, then I can be too. Tang Bao's Weibo was like this, not to mention Cheng Ju's Weibo. At this moment, she was stunned by the latest update of Meng Shi's Weibo. The content was, "Don't you think Yao Yao's chin is very good looking? I know her plastic surgeon. People with ugly faces and dirty hearts like you should have plastic surgery. I can introduce you to her." Then there was a wave of scolding under his comments. There were even Meng Shi's brainless fans who applauded. Meng Shi's brainless fans were terrible. He could cause a hot search with a casual Weibo update. Then his brainless fans went to curse Cheng Yuexin. In the end, it became Meng Shi's fans and Yao Yao's fans scolding each other. The scene was very fierce. Tang Bao turned to look at Meng Shi. Meng Shi grinned at her with big white teeth. "You really don't care about your image. My image has always been like this. Fans don't know it." Meng Shi's words are true. On Weibo, he can say whatever he wants and never scruples. Sometimes it really gives Tang Bao a headache. Such a rebellious person. "Brother Tang, you just said that the official announcement hasn't been made yet. What does that mean? Will the female protagonist who has been decided change her mind?" Cheng Ju didn't quite understand. Tang Bao pondered a little. "I just think it's strange. According to reason, if the female protagonist is decided, it should be announced at the first time. But now there's no movement except for Cheng Yuexin's own momentum. So will the female protagonist be changed? I don't know. Let's wait and see." Tang Bao's eyes were calm. Then he looked at Meng Shi next to him. "It's really time to celebrate after the end. You go. I'll reimburse the cost. Who wants to celebrate with those ugly people?" Meng Shi was not happy at once. The so-called ugly Cheng Ju, when Tang Bao left the company, Meng Shi kept following him like a tail. He couldn't get rid of it. "Well, I'll go to your house to eat and see my 2 Xiaobao shells. I haven't seen them in the film recently. I miss them." Chapter 695. Why? Xiao Bao likes to eat it. No matter how much you like it, you have to control it. Tang Bao didn't want the child to suffer from tooth replacement in the future. "But it's not good for me to go empty-handed." The two of them entered the parking lot. While Meng Shi was still thinking about what to buy for the child, a car attracted his attention. As a man, he had a natural fondness for things like machinery. Such a limited edition military luxury car made his eyes light up. He also had a lot of luxury cars at home, but compared to this one, his car could be called scrap iron. Tang Bao found that it was quiet and looked over in confusion. She found that Meng Shi's attention was in the distance, so she followed his gaze. Her whole body froze. She couldn't be more familiar with this car. Why did it stop here? Wow, this car is awesome. I may not be able to afford it. I'm such a popular celebrity, yet I can't afford a car. Won't people laugh at me? Let me tell you, Tengu, you may not know much about cars, but you just need to know that this car is more valuable than a plane. Meng Shi felt envious. Which damn rich person? I know better than you whether it's valuable or not. Tang Bao's heart was like a surging wave. Just as she was about to turn around and go to her car, the black car drove over. It stopped in front of them. The car window rolled down, revealing a tough face inside. His dark eyes were like an eagle's and a wolf's as he looked at Tang Bao. Tang Bao looked calm on the surface, but she knew that it was already her limit to remain calm under Di Haoyin's stare. When Meng Shi saw the face of the person inside, he was immediately shocked by the look in his eyes. Although he didn't even look at him after the car window was rolled down, he still felt such an impact on his heart. He thought that he was imposing enough, but this person was unfathomable and terrifying. It was like a bottomless abyss. He had never seen a man with such dangerous eyes. "May I have the honor of giving you a ride?" Di Haoyin's thin lips opened, and his voice spilled out. He was neither fast nor slow, as if he was an extremely gentlemanly man. Getting into a stranger's car, it seems that minors don't do such a thing. "And I'm sorry, but I have a car." Tang Bao refused with a faint smile. Di Haoyin looked at her. His eyes did not change because of her refusal. He looked at her for a moment and said, "If you're not willing, I'll have to use force. Mengshi immediately stood in front of him. Do you think I'm dead? Di Hao Ian raised his black eyes slightly, causing Mengshi's scalp to go numb. You want to be dead? Just as Di Hao Ian finished his question, a person appeared out of nowhere and pointed a gun at his temple. Mengshi's body stiffened and he asked, Did you press your phone against my forehead? Then you want me to try shooting? Hiju asked coldly. Mother asterisk her, don't you dare open fire. Mengshi had a bad temper. Hiju exerted force and pressed Mengshi's head against the pillar beside him. Tang Bao was really afraid that Hiju would shoot. After all, Di Hao Ian was not human. He spoke in time. Although I don't understand what you're trying to do, I think there are laws in this world. I'll get into your car. After a pause, he said, I've already agreed to get into the car. Can you let him go? Di Hao Ian leaned back and disappeared into the shadows. His expression could not be seen clearly. Hiju let go of Mengshi. Mengshi saw that Tang Bao was about to get into the car and went forward to pull him back, but Hiju stopped him. We won't hurt her. You don't have to worry. Otherwise, you'll be the one in trouble. Mother asterisk her, you said you won't hurt her, so I won't? Why should I believe the words of a stranger? Mengshi said unhappily. Hiju could not be bothered to talk nonsense with him and directly knocked him out with the butt of the gun. Tang Bao, who got into the car, was stunned and his expression was a little ugly. Then, he looked at Di Hao Ian opposite him. Her heart was beating so strangely. It had been 3 years since she had been so nervous. Could it be that Di Hao Ian had already seen through her? No. How could he see through her? If he could see through her, she would not have left safely during the audition. Tang Bao was forced to be under such strong pressure. The surging in the dark made her whole body tense. Just as she was about to ask Di Hao Ian why he asked her to get into the car, Di Hao Ian spoke first. His voice was low and vibrating in the enclosed car. You look very much like my wife. Tang Bao's heart suddenly stopped, and the fingers on his leg trembled subconsciously. He deliberately lowered his voice and asked, Your wife. What happened to her? I lost her, Yi Zichen said. Oh, Tang Bao's lips curled up slightly. I understand your state of mind, and I understand your purpose in asking me to get into the car. But I want to say that I'm a man, and I can't help you with anything. I don't care about this. You don't care about whether I'm a man or a woman. Tang Bao's expression was as if he was struck by lightning. So you think that I look like your wife, and you don't care that I'm a man? So you kissed me just because I asked you to? You didn't even refuse? Mr. Before Tang Bao could finish his words, his hand tightened and he was pulled over. His whole body was pulled into Di Hao Ian's broad chest. Tang Bao only felt that his brain was buzzing. He was short of oxygen, and he seemed to have lost his ability to think. The familiar smell and the familiar embrace made her absent-minded and stiff. Just as she was about to struggle, she was hugged so tightly that she almost couldn't breathe. Di Hao Ian buried his face into Tang Bao's neck. His hot and rough breath blew on her delicate skin. Her skin was trembling. Her eyes were trembling. Tang Bao felt that something was wrong with him. What was he doing? I'm sorry, mister. Can you not treat me as your wife? This is an insult to a man. Tang Bao was so angry that she struggled with all her might. However, she knew Di Hao Ian's strength too well. It was not something she could resist. I miss you so much. I miss you so much that I'm about to die. Mister, if your wife knows that you're hugging a man and saying that you miss her, you can imagine the trauma in her heart. Mister, Tang Bao wanted to say something, but his words suddenly stopped. His beautiful eyes could not help but widen slightly. The temperature buried in her neck was hot, but suddenly a drop of liquid dripped down, almost scalding her skin. It flowed along her skin and flowed into her clothes. Don't move. Let me hug you. Di Hao Ian's voice was rough and hoarse. Tang Bao froze there. She felt that the area on her neck was wet. Di Hao Ian cried? It couldn't be, right? What kind of person was Di Hao Ian? Tang Bao suspected that such a strong person did not have tear ducts. Let him hug her now. Was there any other choice? He would not let her get out of the car either. Chapter 696. Tang Bao could clearly feel the aura gushing against his skin again and again. Then she realized that Di Hao Yin had fallen asleep. F***CK. Did he think she was a pillow? Did he hug her just to sleep? Just as Tang Bao was about to kick Di Hao Yin away, He Ju, who was in the front passenger seat, said, "Don't move." Tang Bao stopped in her tracks and looked at He Ju in confusion. Ever since my young madam disappeared, young Master D has suffered from serious insomnia. He can't sleep for days and nights. Even with a hypnotist, he can only sleep for an hour or two. It's been 3 years since someone fell asleep on their own like this, He Ju said in a low voice. Tang Bao stared at He Ju in a daze. Insomnia? He hadn't slept for 3 years? Was this possible? Tang Bao recalled the day of the audition when Di Hao Yin's condition plummeted. When she looked over, the dark circles under Di Hao Yin's eyes were very obvious. He looked like a vampire who appeared in the middle of the night. His eyes were red. She didn't take it seriously. After all, she sometimes had dark circles under her eyes because of work. But she didn't expect it to be as serious as He Ju said. Why did he suffer from insomnia? Was it really related to her leaving? Was it? Where's the car going? Tang Bao couldn't help but lower her voice. I don't know. Just drive the car like this. I hope you can persevere on account of him not sleeping well for 3 years. Tang Bao sighed deeply in her heart. What else could she do? She couldn't wake him up, right? She couldn't bear it. The car drove in circles in Boiling City. Di Hao Yin didn't wake up, so the car kept driving. She didn't know how much fuel it would consume. However, with Di Hao Yin's financial resources, this was negligible. It was just that the suffering Tang Bao was more pitiful. What was wrong with Di Hao Yin? He couldn't sleep and blamed it on her. Tang Bao was displeased and disdainful. Di Hao Yin hadn't slept much in the past 3 years. Would he sleep for a few days and nights? Wouldn't her bones be exhausted? So, since she couldn't refuse, she would just find a more comfortable position. She put her hand on Di Hao Yin's broad shoulder and leaned her chin on it. This way, his neck wouldn't be too stiff and he wouldn't be too tired. The car was moving, blocking out all the noise outside. Inside the sealed carriage, it was so quiet that it was like a vacuum. Di Hao Yin's calm breathing was right next to her ear. It was very light, but she could hear it clearly. He had no intention of waking up at all. Tang Bao glanced at He Ju, who was sitting in the front passenger seat. He Ju did not move at all, as if he did not want to make any noise. At this moment in the quiet space, the phone rang. Tang Bao, who had been breathing carefully, was startled at this moment. "Young madam, quickly turn off your phone," He Ju said anxiously. Tang Bao was nervously looking for her phone. When He Ju called her, her hand froze. She looked at He Ju. He Ju realized what he was saying and quickly corrected himself. "I'm sorry. It's because you look very much like my young madam." So, before Tang Bao could think more, Di Hao Yin, who was buried in her neck, woke up. He opened his black eyes and looked at Tang Bao, who was close at hand. He had no intention of letting go of her. Tang Bao turned her face away uncomfortably. "Sorry, I have to answer the phone." Struggling to get down from Di Hao Yin, Tang Bao found her phone. The caller ID showed that it was Meng Shi. As soon as she answered, Meng Shi's anxious voice came through. "Tenga, how are you now? Where are you?" "I'm fine. I'm almost home." "You're fine? What's wrong with that person? Don't let me see him. If I see him, I'll kill him. I don't care who he is." Tang Bao thought to herself, "If you can kill Di Hao Yin with your family background, I'm convinced. There's no need for that. Why not? Don't tell me you've been mesmerized by her beauty. Why aren't you saying anything? Shut your mouth. If there's anything, we'll talk at the company tomorrow." Tang Bao showed her authority and directly hung up the phone. She put the phone in her briefcase and looked up, meeting Di Hao Yin's dark eyes. They were so deep, with an undercurrent surging, as if they were going to drown someone. The whole car was flooded with such a turbulent tide. The dark circles in Di Hao Yin's eyes were still very obvious. If she was not wrong, Di Hao Yin had fallen asleep for more than an hour. His entire aura was still gloomy, like a ghost in the shadows. Tang Bao turned her face and looked out of the car window. Because the car had taken a detour, it was a little far from her residence. "Can you let me out of the car?" Tang Bao retracted her gaze from the car window and stabilized her pulse. She looked at Di Hao Yin and asked, "Do you live here?" "No, I just don't want to take a stranger's car." Her behavior was baffling. "I'll send you back. Send me to the company." "My car is there," Tang Bao said. Di Hao Yin did not say anything. He kept looking at Tang Bao as if this person's face was so beautiful that he had never seen it before in 8 lifetimes. Tang Bao pretended not to see it. She turned her face away. The two of them did not speak along the way. Tang Bao thought that Di Hao Yin would send her back to the company. She did not expect the car to stop in front of her apartment when she got out of the car. Di Hao Yin knew that she lived here. It was not a coincidence that they met at the audition. Tang Bao took a deep breath and turned to look at the person in the car who had not moved. "You were the one who forced me into the car. I don't think there's a need to thank me, right? Let's part ways here." After saying that, she turned and walked away without looking back. God knew how difficult it was for her to straighten her back and maintain her composure. She entered the elevator and closed the door. She closed her eyes and exhaled deeply. Her body was too tense. At this moment, when she relaxed, she felt so powerless. Why did he appear in front of her again? Tang Bao liked her current life very much and did not want to be disrupted by anyone's appearance. Di Hao Yin, couldn't he just pretend that she was dead? Under such circumstances, everyone should have known that she was already dead. But Di Hao Yin's reappearance, was it a coincidence or deliberate? The elevator door opened. Tang Bao walked to the door of her apartment and pressed the password to open the door. The helpers at home were definitely not around. Usually, after 7 o'clock, Bao would ask the helpers to leave. He did not seem to like appearing in front of her. At first, Tang Bao was worried. But later, she realized that Bao was really different from other children his age. He was calm when something happened and would coax his sister to sleep. But even so, Tang Bao would not go out to socialize unless there was a special need for her to appear. Even if there was an important work in the company, she would rather do it at home. Chapter 697. She was pushed inside. Tang Bao's first reaction was, "Is this a burglary?" The other party's movements were forceful and fast. Tang Bao did not even have time to resist before she was pushed against the wall. In the next second, Tang Bao was completely covered by Di Hao Yin's shadow. A familiar scent hit her in the face. Tang Bao took a deep breath. Her eyes widened, and her body stiffened. "Di Hao Yin, is everything I've done for the past 3 years going to be in vain?" Tang Bao came back to her senses and tried to push the person on top of her away. However, she could not do it. Tang Bao struggled hard, but she could not escape from Di Hao Yin's strong grip. It did not matter if it was 3 years ago or 3 years later. Di Hao Yin did not allow her to resist or disturb his actions at this moment. Tang Bao opened her mouth angrily and bit down. Suddenly, the smell of blood spread. Tang Bao thought that Di Hao Yin would back down, but he did not. Not only did he not back down, but he also moved forward. At this moment, there was an unusual smack. Di Hao Yin's body stiffened. He let go of Tang Bao slightly and turned his head. When he saw the child behind him who was not even as long as his legs, Di Hao Yin's dark eyes trembled. Bao was holding a feather duster in his hand. He was the one who had hit Di Hao Yin with it just now. His face was almost identical to Di Hao Yin's, but he was young and not as masculine as Di Hao Yin's. There was an angry look on his little face. When he saw Di Hao Yin turn around, he was stunned. However, he did not care so much. He shouted angrily at Di Hao Yin, "Let go, my daddy!" He pointed the feather duster at Di Hao Yin. When Tang Bao saw his son, he cursed inwardly and pushed Di Hao Yin away. What happened just now? Did she see it? This kind of scene was not suitable for children. Di Hao Yin raised his eyebrows and looked at the child whose legs were shorter than his. He wasn't afraid of him? Not to mention children. Even adults wouldn't be afraid of his gaze. "Brother, I'm here to help you. I brought the thickest stick in the house." Xiao Bao rushed over with a stick that was longer than her. When she saw Di Hao Yin's face, she looked at Di Hao Yin and then at Bao. "Brother, this person looks so much like you." Di Hao Yin's gaze landed on Xiao Bao again. She had a delicate little face and was very cute. Her big round eyes made her look like a girl. Didn't you say 2 sons? Di Hao Ian looked at the 2 little guys in front of him and asked in a hoarse voice. Tang Bao came back to his senses and said to Bao and Xiao Bao, "Go back to your rooms. Daddy, brother, and I will stay to help you." He bullied Daddy. "He must be a bad guy," Xiao Bao said. "I'm fine. Go back to your rooms first." Xiao Bao still didn't want to leave. Bao took her hand and led her into the room. After they went in, Xiao Bao asked worriedly, "Brother, don't we need to help Daddy?" "I believe in Daddy. If he said it would be fine, then it would be fine." "Yes, I believe in him too." Xiao Bao nodded vigorously. She thought of something and asked, "Brother, that person really looked like you. Why?" Bao frowned and said, "I don't know. Anyway, he didn't look like a good person." In the living room outside, Tang Bao stood there silently. Di Hao Ian turned around and looked at Tang Bao. Tang Bao looked away, tried to hide it. "How did you recognize me?" "Intuition." "So, you recognized me during the audition and pretended not to know me. After that, Chengju lost to Yao Yao because of you, right?" Tang Bao asked, but he was already certain in his heart. Otherwise, with Yao Yao's standard, how could she have caught Sima He's eye? She didn't want to admit that she was Tang Bao, but she already knew when she was in the car. Now that Bao had appeared in front of Di Hao Ian, what excuse could she use to cover up her identity? Nothing. Although she was wearing men's clothes and looked like a man from head to toe, in Di Hao Ian's eyes, she was completely exposed. After 3 years, she had forgotten Di Hao Ian's sharpness and shrewdness. Di Hao Ian would always be Di Hao Ian. He would never become an authority that could be ignored. He could easily see through you and control you. "You can go. I don't want you to disturb my life." Tang Bao turned around. However, Tang Bao's entire body was hugged by Di Hao Ian from behind. His low and hoarse voice sounded. "Where do you want me to go? D City is where you should be. You're wrong. Wherever you are, that's where I belong." Di Hao Ian's arms held Tang Bao tightly in his arms. Her slender body seemed to be wrapped in Di Hao Ian's body. "Di Hao Ian, since I chose to leave, I never thought, it's okay." Tang Bao, who was struggling, was stunned. What did he mean by it was okay? "You don't have to go back." Tang Bao suppressed the slight anger in his heart. "If that's the case, you should pretend that you don't know anything and leave here. Wherever you are, I will be there." In short, Di Hao Ian would not let go. Just like his behavior at this moment, it was as if he wanted to tie Tang Bao to him forever. There was no way he could separate her from him. Tang Bao's face stiffened. Why did this person suddenly say such words? Was he determined to follow her? She could not imagine that Di Hao Ian's temperament had changed after she left for only 3 years. Was he not going to divorce her and marry Lan Wanru? Was he not going to marry Lan Wanru? Or was it because he did not divorce her? But now, Di Hao Ian did not look like he wanted to divorce her. Besides, if he really wanted to divorce her, Di Hao Ian could use the marriage law to cancel her 3 years of absence. He did not need to go through her personally. So, it could not be because of this. "The child is mine. Don't even think about taking it away." This was the only thing Tang Bao could think of. Although she and Di Hao Ian had quarreled like this, the child was really Di Hao Ian's. Xiao Bao's appearance was not very distinguishable, but her Bao could be seen to be the same as Di Hao Ian at a glance. Then, Di Hao Ian could tell even more. There was no doubt about it. "It doesn't matter. The child is yours. They will follow you." "Then what do you want to do?" "I'm also yours." Di Hao Ian's low voice fell hoarsely beside her ear. It drilled into her ears and hit her eardrums, causing her to be stunned. Tang Bao did not want to be affected by Di Hao Ian's words. She said coldly, "You are not mine. I can't afford to have you. In this world, other than you, I can't afford to have anyone else. Other than you, I don't want anyone else." Chapter 698. Di Hao Ian still showed no signs of loosening his grip. "Di Hao Ian," Tang Bao was furious. "You can't run away." How could she run away? Her children were here, and her career was here. How could she run away just like that? Then, Di Hao Ian finally let go of her. As soon as he let go, Tang Bao felt as if the bones in her body were squeezed together. She suppressed the anger in her heart and ordered Di Haotian, "Leave now. When you go out, close the door for me if you're happy. If you're not, I'll close it myself later." After that, she turned and went back to the children's room. Inside, the children were leaning together and talking about something. When they saw her come in, they immediately stopped talking. Tang Bao was too ashamed to face them. Was this the right moral view? Putting aside the fact that she was forcefully kissed by Di Haotian, wasn't it inappropriate for two men to kiss each other? What if she accidentally lost to their incorrect moral views? Would the children be led astray when they grew up? But how should she explain it to the children? Should she tell them that the daddy they had been calling was actually mommy? Or should she tell them that the man outside who looked like them was their daddy, and that she was nothing? Tang Bao did not want to accept either. Tang Bao faced the children's clear eyes and cleared his throat. Then he squatted down in front of them and began to rack his brains to explain to them. "That was just now, Daddy, that man is not a good person. He bullied you. Do you want us to help you beat him up?" Xiao Bao clenched his fists and looked as if he was ready to fight with Di Haotian. Tang Bao was speechless. "How would you be so violent? You're a girl." Tang Bao held her little fists and took them away. Then he held Bao's little soft hands. "No, Daddy can beat him. I don't need your help." "Did that man leave?" Bao asked. Tang Bao thought of something and asked Bao, "Do you think you look like the man outside?" "It doesn't look like it. Big brother, they clearly look alike." It was as if her brother had grown up. "Brother, will you be like that when you grow up?" Xiao Bao asked curiously. Tang Bao was silent. If even Xiao Bao could see it, how could Bao not? It was said that blood ties were a mysterious thing. Whether or not they would feel the presence of Di Haotian was a big problem. What I want to tell you is that there are so many people in this world. There are bound to be some who look similar. There's nothing strange about that. You don't know, but there used to be someone who looked like Daddy. Xiao Bao was surprised. "Really? Of course it's true. Daddy wouldn't lie to you." Tang Bao paused for a moment. With a guilty conscience, he said, "Remember, if you meet that man again in the future, don't believe him if he tells you anything. Got it?" The two treasures nodded obediently. After putting the two children to bed, Tang Bao left the room. When he walked out of the room, the living room was empty. The main door was closed. Tang Bao heaved a sigh of relief. Di Haotian had left. In that case, would he come back? Tang Bao felt that Di Haotian would come back. Based on his attitude just now, she felt that she was not going to be let off. She really did not want to go back. It was not easy for her to muster the courage to leave. She had given up everything. Di Haotian, her friends, her company. She really could not bring herself to go back. She felt that her current life was very good. It was enough for her to raise the children and watch them get married and have children. Before she could finish her thoughts, Tang Bao's hand that was pushing the door open suddenly froze. She stared blankly at Di Haotian, who was standing by the bed, holding a photo frame of her and the children in his hand. His dark figure almost dispelled the brightness in the room, and the color of the room darkened. The photos were taken when the children were 2 years old, and she celebrated their birthdays with them. She did not want Di Haotian to know about the missing 3 years and how she had spent the past 3 years. Tang Bao went forward and snatched the photo frame away from her. He pinned it on the bedside table. "Didn't I tell you to leave? Why did he come to her room? Did he really think that Di Haotian would be so obedient? When did I say I was leaving?" Di Haotian looked at her. "Don't tell me. You're going to sleep here?" Tang Bao looked at him coldly. However, Di Haotian's expression did not change. Tang Bao could not help but look angry. "If you sleep here and the children see it, what will it look like? 2 men sleeping together? Aren't you afraid that you'll lead them astray?" "Xiao Bao is fine. Bao is a boy. I have confidence in my children." Tang Bao tried to calm himself down. "Are you leaving or not? I found you. I've never thought of letting you out of my sight again." Di Haotian looked at her with his deep and dark eyes, as if they were a huge vortex that wanted to swallow her whole. "No, I won't accept it. I have my own life now. I hope you won't come and disturb me." Tang Bao rejected him flatly. Di Haotian looked at her without blinking. "Bao, you know that if you don't want to, I still have ways to force you. I just don't want to use them. Should I be grateful to you? Wait, what did Di Hao Yin call her just now? Bao. Why'd he call her that? Wasn't it the name Di Hao Yin used to call her before he lost his memory? Could it be that Di Hao Yin had regained his memory? Just as Tang Bao was wondering, the doorbell outside rang. Di Hao Yin walked out of the room. Tang Bao was still standing there, deep in thought. If Di Hao Yin had really regained his memory, he would tell her, right? If he did, wouldn't he have more reason to stay here? Just as Tang Bao was puzzled, Di Hao Yin came in, dragging a box in his hand. You? What are you doing? Di Hao Yin, you're really sleeping here. Tang Bao could tell that Di Hao Yin was not only going to sleep here, but he was going to sleep here for a long time. Yes. Di Hao Yin looked up at her, looking very flirtatious. Then you sleep here. I'll go next door. Just take it that she was taking in this person. She could deal with other people, but she couldn't deal with Di Hao Yin. It was better to give in. It would be easier for her to protect herself. However, just as she reached the door, Di Hao Yin hooked the door with his long leg and closed it directly. His tall figure stood in front of Tang Bao like a wall, exuding a strong aura. Get out of my way. Either you sleep here obediently, or if you make any noise and the child hears it, it's not my responsibility. Di Hao Yin's black eyes had a devilish luster. Tang Bao's face stiffened, and two words popped out her mouth. Shameless. After saying that, she turned around to get her pajamas and went to the bathroom outside. The bathroom here was naturally not like the one in the castle, where the bathroom was in the room and was very convenient. Chapter 699. She didn't have to worry that Di Hao Yin would open the door. She had hired someone to install the lock on the bathroom doors. It was very secure. After locking the door, Tang Bao took off her men's clothes, revealing her girlish figure. Her fair skin was translucent and seductive. Under the light, she was peerlessly beautiful. Every time after taking a shower, Tang Bao wouldn't tie her body with a white cloth. Because sleeping was not good for blood circulation, it was not good for the body. But now Di Hao Yin was in the same room as her. As long as she didn't tie herself up, it would be very obvious. He would be able to tell. After thinking about it, Di Hao Yin knew that she was a woman. Why should she make things difficult for herself? In the end, she was just afraid that Di Hao Yin would do something to her. In fact, she didn't know how much Di Hao Yin knew about her in the past 3 years. But she also didn't know what had happened to Di Hao Yin in the past 3 years. Presumably, with a strong desire, he couldn't bear the loneliness. How could a man not have sex with a woman for 3 years? Tang Bao wouldn't believe it. Tang Bao entered the room in men's pajamas. Di Hao Yin turned to look at her. Tang Bao looked away slightly. She knew that after washing her face would be completely Tang Bao's tender and beautiful face. Except for her short hair, her face was still the same as 3 years ago. Even her charming eyes had not changed at all. Because she had washed her hair, the front hair fell down and stuck to her smooth and fair forehead. It was a kind of messy beauty. Di Hao Yin's dark eyes seemed to fall on Tang Bao's face and couldn't move away. And the short hair only set off her bright facial features, making them more beautiful and eye-catching. At first glance, people couldn't help but fall in love with her. She felt Di Hao Yin's gaze on her face. It was like a physical object touching her skin. She was not used to it. After a long silence, Di Hao Yin asked, "Don't you feel stuffy with something tied up?" Tang Bao's tense face almost cracked. "I'm used to it." Was this concern? Tang Bao only felt that he was up to no good. Seeing Di Hao Yin take his pajamas out of the room, she knew that he was going to take a shower. Tang Bao looked around the room and saw Di Hao Yin's suitcase standing by the wall. The clothes were in the suitcase? Not likely. Tang Bao opened her wardrobe. Well, Di Hao Yin's clothes occupied her wardrobe. Although they were all men's clothes to men's clothes, the size, the big ones were naturally Di's clothes' success. In the past, Di Hao Yin was a very particular person. His cloakroom was bigger than her current house. He wore a new set of clothes every day and never wore the same one. The number of watches in the cabinet was comparable to those in famous shops, but they were more expensive. Now, with only a few sets of clothes and a watch in his hand, Tang Bao suddenly had the illusion that he was thrifty. Who knew that the watch on his wrist was worth hundreds of millions of yuan? Tang Bao really wanted to throw Di Haoyan's clothes out of the wardrobe, but in the end, she angrily closed the wardrobe door. Even if she really did throw them out, did she think Di Haoyan would care? Would Di Haoyan care about throwing away a few sets of clothes? She was too naive. Di Haoyan entered the room and saw Tang Bao lying on the bed with a quilt on the floor. Tang Bao turned his head and saw Di Haoyan coming in. He was tall and straight. After taking a shower, he had a primitive wildness. His aura was strong and dangerous, oppressing the air. "You sleep on the floor," Tang Bao said. The 4 words made it clear that the mattress on the floor was for him. Di Haoyan pretended not to hear her. He walked straight to the bed and got on it. Tang Bao immediately got up and looked at Di Haoyan warily. "You're not allowed to get on my bed." Di Haoyan turned over and pressed down on her, not giving her any chance to refuse. His thick figure completely enveloped her. Tang Bao's eyes widened in shock, and her heart beat wildly. She quickly put her hands between Di Haoyan and her, not wanting to let him take another step closer. "What are you doing?" "Sleeping. If you don't want to sleep on the floor, you can sleep on the bed." "I'll sleep on the floor." Tang Bao should not have let him sleep on the floor. How could Di Haoyan sleep on the floor? She had not thought it through. But in front of Di Haoyan, anything could happen. Tang Bao struggled, but Di Haoyan pressed his face down, making Tang Bao's body suddenly stiffen. Di Haoyan did not go too far. He just kissed her and separated. Then he lay down beside her, but his arms were hugging Tang Bao. Tang Bao moved her body, but she could not break free. Di Haoyan's arms tightened, and Tang Bao's body was pressed against Di Haoyan's firm chest. She could hear his strong heartbeat clearly on the left side of his chest. Di Haoyan hugged her, and his lips fell on the top of her head. His slender fingers ran through the roots of her hair, and his voice was low and hoarse. "I haven't gotten used to your short hair yet, but it looks very good. Have you heard of a saying? Go ahead." Di Haoyan's voice was gentle. "Cutting off my long hair is to cut all ties with the past," Tang Bao said, her chest tight. "Is that so?" Di Haoyan's heart tightened a little. He pressed Tang Bao's head against his chest again, as if that would make him feel better. His dark eyes were filled with pain. "Then let's start over." Tang Bao's long eyelashes fluttered slightly, and she stared at the chest that was close to her. "Start over? Since when did they start over? What if I don't want to?" After Tang Bao asked, she waited for Di Haoyan's answer. But there was a moment of silence in the room. After a moment, Di Haoyan's low voice sounded from above her head. "I think it's enough. Can you not be so domineering?" Di Haoyan chuckled and hugged her even tighter, silently telling her that he could be even more domineering. Tang Bao was speechless. She could not compete with Di Haoyan in terms of strength. She was not as thick-skinned as him, and she was not as powerful as him. What else could she use to resist? Could it be that she, who was considered a domineering person at work, had no way to deal with Di Haoyan? Just as she was thinking about how to deal with Di Haoyan, Tang Bao's lower abdomen suddenly tightened, and she began to struggle hard. "What are you doing?" "Don't move. I want to feel the scar." "I won't let you touch it." Tang Bao struggled to break free from Di Haoyan's arms and stepped back. Her face was red as she glared at him. Di Haoyan was afraid that she would struggle too much, so he let go of her. If she really relied on Tang Bao's strength, she would definitely not be able to break free. "Are you afraid?" Tang Bao thought that Di Haoyan would definitely be angry if she struggled so hard. Unexpectedly, he was very calm. "What did he mean by afraid?" "I wasn't by your side when you gave birth." Tang Bao's expression changed, and she looked away. "It's been so long. I've forgotten how I feel." How could she forget? She could not forget. She just did not want to appear weak in front of Di Haoyan. Besides, so much time had passed. What was the use of pursuing the original matter? Chapter 700. She had been pretending to be a man for 3 years and had always been rational and strong. Even if there were setbacks, she would solve them on her own. Now, she did not want to rely on anyone and was used to solving problems on her own. However, Tang Bao was still a little worried that Di Hao Ian would take the child away. To Di Hao Ian, the child was not only his blood, but also the next he's heir. Moreover, the child looked so similar to him. Would he not want the child? Di Hao Ian, although I was indeed a little nervous and scared when I gave birth at that time, I think it's normal for people who give birth for the first time to have such emotions. But now, when the child is by my side, the satisfaction and happiness I feel makes me feel that it's worth it no matter what price I have to pay. I don't have any other requests. I just hope that you won't take the child away. If you insist, I don't mind fighting you with my life. Even if you're the emperor, I'm not afraid. Tang Bao's eyes were firm and cold. I won't snatch the child away from you. Di Hao Yin looked at her with his dark eyes. His current mood, or rather, the moment he saw Tang Bao, was ecstasy and throbbing. Nothing else mattered. Even if her expression was angry and defensive, he could not take his eyes off her. I hope you remember what you said. After Tang Bao finished speaking, he turned his face away and got off the bed. He walked to the mattress on the floor and lay down. It's late. Go to sleep. He closed his eyes. Tang Bao was worried that Di Hao Ian would drag him away or shamelessly sleep on her side. After waiting for a long time, she did not see Di Hao Ian move. Instead, he fell asleep on the bed. Tang Bao opened his eyes in confusion, but he was so shocked that his heart skipped a beat. She saw Di Hao Ian leaning against the headboard of the bed. His body was lazy, but his dark eyes were staring at her. The undercurrent in the depths of Tang Bao's heart made him restless. Was her mattress on the floor, too close to the bed? She deliberately put as much distance between them as possible. She could only blame her room for being too small. Tang Bao did not want to talk to this person anymore. He pretended that this person did not exist and turned around to sleep with his back facing him. She didn't close her eyes immediately. Instead, she was thinking about the events of the day. Until now, she still couldn't accept that Di Hao Ian had really appeared in front of her without warning. How could a person who had been missing for 3 years appear just like that? She didn't want her life to be disrupted. But how to get rid of Di Hao Ian was another tricky problem. Di Hao Ian said that he would not take the children away. So why did he appear? Could it be because of her? He doesn't want his Lan Wanru anymore? Presumably, when Di Hao Ian was unconscious in the hospital, the one who took care of him was Lan Wanru, right? Just like when Di Hao Ian was attacked and fell off a cliff in the hospital, she couldn't find him no matter how hard she tried. The one who stayed by her side to take care of her was Lan Wanru. Tang Bao shut her eyes forcefully. Du Ju's imagination ran wild. Why was she still thinking about things for so long? Since she had left, she had already made up her mind to not have anything to do with Di Hao Ian anymore. So be it. No matter what Di Hao Ian wanted to do, she didn't need to care about it. She fell asleep with this thought in mind. After sleeping for an unknown amount of time, Tang Bao felt a little warm. Would it be hot to sleep in this weather? She still needed to cover herself with a blanket. It seemed like she couldn't turn over. She couldn't have been tied up and thrown onto the streets without knowing, right? Tang Bao groggily opened her eyes and found a firm chest in front of her. When she raised her head, she saw Di Hao Ian's handsome face. When she met his dark eyes, she was stunned. Red, and there seemed to be liquid at the corners of his eyes. Tang Bao was still sleepy and thought that she was seeing things. She wanted to take a closer look, but Di Hao Ian had already turned around and laid down flat, releasing the bindings on Tang Bao. Why are you awake? Tang Bao's voice sounded like Di Hao Ian's. Except for the low huskiness of the night, there was nothing unusual about it. As expected, she had been muddle-headed. I haven't asked you yet. Why am I on your bed? Don't tell me that I climbed up on my own. Tang Bao wouldn't believe it. When they were in the castle, she and Di Hao Ian had a cold war and slept in separate beds. When she woke up, she slept on Di Hao Ian's bed. At that time, he said that she climbed up on her own. That was nonsense. You kicked the blanket. I carried you up. This reason, Tang Bao glanced at him coldly. Next time you see me kicking the blanket, please pretend that you didn't see it. When Di Hao Ian heard that, he immediately pulled her into his arms. You mean that I can continue sleeping here? Bao, are you inviting me? Then are you willing to leave? I don't want to. Tang Bao didn't want to talk. She just wanted to get out of Di Hao Ian's arms, but she couldn't break free. She looked up and met Di Hao Ian's smiling eyes. Is it funny to see that I can't win against you in terms of strength? No man is as strong as me. It's not funny that you can't win against me. Then why are you laughing? Why are you so cute? Tang Bao's face heated up and she became angry. I hope you can treat me like a man. A man shouldn't be called cute. It's humiliating. Okay, since when did Di Hao Ian become so easy to talk to? This made Tang Bao even angrier, but she couldn't find a way to vent her anger. It's going to be dawn soon. Sleep a little longer. Di Hao Ian hugged her and buried his face in her hair. He breathed in the fragrance of her hair and said in a low voice. Tang Bao couldn't win against Di Hao Ian in terms of strength, and Di Hao Ian obviously wouldn't let go. Tang Bao thought that she needed to be more vigilant after giving birth. After all, the child was her concern. However, Di Hao Ian had already moved her to the bed, but she didn't notice it all. This could only mean that Di Hao Ian was too capable. Helpless, Tang Bao could only settle for the next best thing and was forced to nestle in Di Hao Ian's chain-like embrace. There was a moment of silence in the space. Tang Bao didn't feel as sleepy as before. When she thought about how Di Hao Ian wasn't sleeping when she opened her eyes, she couldn't help but ask, Di Hao Ian, can't you sleep? Don't tell me you haven't slept until now. Hiju said that Di Hao Ian had been relying on a psychiatrist to sleep for the past 3 years and couldn't fall asleep himself. This made her feel that it was an exaggeration, but she also felt that Hiju was lying and thought that his young master was trying to gain sympathy. However, Hiju wasn't a person who would lie. I fell asleep, but I woke up later. Tang Bao didn't ask any more questions. If Di Hao Ian really couldn't sleep, it had nothing to do with her. There was no need for her to ask so much. Chapter 701. He did not have the timidity of a 3-year-old child. Di Hao Ian raised his eyebrows slightly. Do I need your permission to sleep here? Can't you see that I'm more like your daddy? However, Di Hao Ian did not correct the child's misconception. He went forward and picked up the soft little body. You're so small. You're the one who's small. Put me down. You're a bad person. Bao wanted to kick Di Hao Ian, who was treating him like a toy, but he realized that he was being held up by this bad guy. His legs were too short, and he could not even touch his chest, let alone kick him. He was so angry that his tender little face turned red. If you make any more noise, your daddy will wake up. Bao's persistent kick froze. He stopped and did not make any more noise. His daddy was working very hard. He did not want to wake him up. Moreover, his little sister was sleeping. Seeing that he had become obedient, Di Hao Ian smiled. He carried him with one arm and walked toward the kitchen door. After entering the kitchen, he looked at the ingredients and opened the refrigerator. Di Hao Ian asked the little boy, "What do you want to eat for breakfast?" Bao turned his head to the other side arrogantly. "There will be an auntie who will make breakfast. We're not going to eat breakfast made by you." "You mean the auntie who cooks?" "I've already told her not to come in the future." Bao could not accept it for a moment. Don't tell him that from now on, he, his daddy, and his little sister would have to eat food made by this person. Di Hao Ian looked at the frown on his face. They were exactly the same. He patted his head lovingly and put him down. "I know what your daddy likes to eat. As for you, I won't tell you what I like to eat." "I know." Bao was stunned. "How did you know?" "Your daddy told me that you like to eat millet porridge with pickles." "No, I like poached eggs and sandwiches." "Now I know." Bao felt that he had been tricked. He hated this feeling. What is little sister like? If you don't tell me, I'll make 3 servings and she won't be able to eat it. Bao's expression immediately changed. Everyone had breakfast except for Xiao Bao. That wouldn't do. In the end, Bao said Xiao Bao likes fruit juice, poached eggs, and sandwiches. Put a lot of bacon in the sandwiches. Di Hao Ian smiled. "All right, I've remembered everything." Bao was at a disadvantage. He was so angry that he turned and ran away. He walked to the door of Tang Bao's room and gently opened the door. When he saw his daddy sleeping soundly inside, he did not go in to disturb him and gently closed the door. Bao went back to his room and sat on the chair sulkily. Xiao Bao was still sleeping soundly on the bed, completely unaware of her brother's emotions. Bao felt that he had never been angered like this before. That person, even though he looked similar to him, how could he be so vile? Their personalities were too different. Now, he was even occupying their daddy's place, their daddy's room, and now he was even occupying the position of the cook. This was too much. Tang Bao turned over in her sleep. The freedom of her body made her wake up instinctively. When she opened her eyes slightly, she did not see Di Haoyan beside her. He was not in the room either. Tang Bao got down from the bed and opened the wardrobe. Di Haoyan's clothes were all there. She turned around and looked at the floor. The mattress on the floor had been put away without her noticing. Tang Bao opened the door and smelled the aroma of breakfast. Tang Bao thought it was the cook. She then saw Bao standing at the kitchen door looking at her innocently. She walked over and asked, "What's the matter?" Before she could ask, she saw Di Haoyan in the kitchen. What are you doing?" "Making breakfast." Tang Bao thought to herself, "Is she still asleep?" Di Haoyan knew how to cook. Although it was just breakfast, she still could not believe it. "Hurry up and wash up. It'll be ready soon." Di Haoyan looked at her short hair. It was a little messy, but she still looked like a dazed and adorable young girl. His heart tightened when he saw that. He went forward and kissed her on the lips. Tang Bao was so shocked that she froze on the spot. Tang Bao looked at Bao again and saw that Bao's little face had darkened. Tang Bao was filled with anger. She really wanted to use the frying pan to send Di Haoyan flying. Did he not see that the child was here? Tang Bao carried Bao and left the kitchen, away from Di Haoyan. When they reached the living room, Tang Bao did not know how to explain to Bao. She did not say anything and turned to wash up. Di Haoyan finished making breakfast and went to the room. Xiao Bao was still sleeping in the room. Di Haoyan leaned over and looked at her rosy cheeks. She looked very much like Tang Bao. Di Haoyan's tough heart softened when he saw her. He was about to wake her up. "Move aside." Di Haoyan turned around and saw Bao holding a hot towel in his hand. He watched as Bao covered Xiao Bao's face with the hot towel. Xiao Bao groaned and woke up. "Big brother, it's time for breakfast." "Okay." Di Haoyan raised his eyebrows again. She was quite resourceful, wasn't she? "I'm going to help my sister get dressed. You can go out." Bao asked him to leave. "Why should I go out? Men and women should not touch each other. You're not a man. I'm different. I'm her brother." Bao angrily expressed his identity. He was nothing. Di Haoyan thought to himself, "I'm her father." But this was not bad. "You go take care of your sister. I'll take care of your mommy." Tang Bao was in the bathroom. He was dressed in a suit and had his makeup done. His hair was neat and tidy. He looked exactly like a handsome young man. The door was pushed open. Di Haoyan walked in. Tang Bao's hand trembled as she drew her eyeliner. The pen almost poked into her eyes. Di Haoyan walked over and stood behind her. He put his arms around her slender waist and rested his chin on Tang Bao's shoulder intimately. His dark eyes stared at the elegant and handsome face in the mirror. Why would anyone think that you're a man with such a face? Tang Bao did not understand either. Why did everyone think that she was a man, but Di Haoyan thought that she was a woman? Tang Bao put down the eyeliner pen and turned around. His eyes looked sharp with the eyeliner. "There's something that I want to set with you. Go ahead. If you show up at my house, please don't kiss me in front of the child. I shouldn't have done that in front of the child, but I couldn't control myself at that time." Tang Bao narrowed her eyes slightly and looked at him. "I'm not asking about your emotions." Di Haoyan's thin lips curved into a smile as he looked at the expression on her face with infatuation. "I won't do that again." Tang Bao sighed deeply. "How long are you going to stay here?" Chapter 702. Di Haoyan, let me make it clear to you. I'm not going back to D City. It's okay. If you want to stay here for the rest of your life, I have no objections. If Tang Bao was a negotiator at this moment, she would have lost completely. Di Haoyan looked at Tang Bao's stunned face, approached her, and directly pressed Tang Bao against the sink. "If you don't want to stay in the castle, you want to stay here?" Tang Bao's body involuntarily leaned back, away from Di Haoyin's coercion. Anyone in their right mind would only choose the castle. How luxurious and comfortable it was. Her room here was not even as big as a bathroom in the castle. I think it's comfortable here. Di Haoyin looked at her with a possessive gaze. Tang Bao felt like she was going to collapse. Even if she did not collapse, she would die of exhaustion if she maintained this position. She reached out to push Di Haoyin away, but Di Haoyin grabbed her hand and wrapped it in his palm. She pressed her face against his and wanted to kiss him. What are you doing? Tang Bao was shocked. Didn't you say that as long as it's not in front of the child, you can kiss me? When did I say that? I only said. Tang Bao paused and looked at Di Haoyin coldly. Are you playing word games with me? Di Haoyin chuckled and wanted to continue pressing her down. At this moment, the bathroom door was pushed open. Bao's small body walked in and looked at Di Haoyin angrily. Let go of my daddy. Otherwise, I won't be polite to you. Di Haoyin was speechless. How rude. I'm your father. Tang Bao immediately pushed Di Haoyin away, steadied the heat on her face, and pulled Bao's hand. Let's go and eat. At the dining table, the four of them ate at the same table. Everyone else was eating breakfast. Xiao Bao, who woke up later, expressed that she could not understand what was going on at home. Wasn't it just her brother, and her daddy eating breakfast together every morning? Who was this person? Why did he stay at her house for breakfast? Bao noticed Xiao Bao's absent-mindedness and quickly said, Why? The bacon won't taste good if it gets cold. Xiao Bao moved her little mouth close to Bao's ear and asked, Big brother, this is the person who bullied Daddy. Why did you let him eat our breakfast? Her voice was soft, but it was still heard by everyone, especially the perceptive Di Haoyin. Di Haoyin looked at the curious little face and said, Because I made this breakfast. Xiao Bao was speechless. She stared at him with her big, innocent eyes. Di Haoyin couldn't help but smile when he saw her dark eyes. He took out a tissue to wipe her mouth and asked, I also know how to make a cake. Do you want to eat it? Xiao Bao's eyes lit up when she heard that. Do you know how to make strawberry cake? I know how to make all kinds of cakes. I want to. Before she could say the word eat, Xiao Bao felt her brother's terrifying gaze on her. She quickly shut her mouth and lowered her head to eat her sandwich, because her brother said that it wouldn't taste good if it got cold. Di Haoyin, who saw the change clearly, restrained the smile in his dark eyes. Then, he turned to look at Tang Bao. Tang Bao was eating her millet porridge with her eyes lowered. She was used to eating millet porridge for breakfast now. It was more Chinese food, so it was definitely different from when she was at the castle. In the past, the castle had a Chinese and Western breakfast every morning, and it was extremely sumptuous. Of course, she didn't feel that it was hard to eat millet porridge now. However, the fried egg in front of her was really well made. It was golden yellow and didn't smell burnt at all. It didn't look like it was his first time making it. So, after she left the castle, Di Haoyin learned how to cook. Di Haoyin put an egg in her bowl. Try it. How's my cooking? Tang Bao didn't need to go against her body, so she took a bite and praised, It's not bad. Di Haoyin's eyes immediately flashed with affection. He watched her eat what he had cooked and said confidently, Nothing can stop me. Just then, Bao said, Daddy, he wasted a total of 36 eggs. There's not a single egg in the fridge now. Di Haoyin's face was a little distorted. Tang Bao sneered. Nothing can stop you. For the first time in his life, Di Haoyin felt like he had been slapped in the face, and it was his own son. How unlikable. Her cell phone rang. It was Tang Bao. She glanced coldly at Di Haoyin and stood up to answer the call. The caller ID showed that it was Chengju. Brother Tang, have you seen Weibo? No, what's wrong? The legend of Concubine Me has officially announced the female lead. The female lead is me, and Director Sima called me early in the morning. Tang Bao glanced at Di Haoyin. She knew that it was Di Haoyin's doing. If it weren't for Di Haoyin's tricks, the role would have been taken down long ago. Now Weibo is full of comments scolding Cheng Yuexin. We were scolded that day, and now the plot has reversed. Brother Tang, you're amazing. What? I remember you said at that time that as long as you think about your acting skills, you'll definitely be able to get the role of concubine me, since it's already decided. Just wait to join the crew. I'll call the director and scriptwriter later to arrange it for you. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Tang Bao returned to the dining table and looked at Di Hao. You took my phone? You're sleeping. Tang Bao really wanted to buckle the bowl on Di Hao Yan's uncanny and calm face. Why'd he touch her things and answer her phone? She wondered why Sima didn't call her. Looking at the call record, it was obvious that someone had answered the phone. If it weren't for the child next to her, she would have thrown the bowl at that face regardless of her image. What would Sima think when he heard Di Hao Yan's voice? Two men, they shouldn't be thinking the wrong way, right? But when she thought of Sima He's love for men, her head was even bigger. After dinner, Tang Bao packed up her things and prepared to go to the company. Looking at Di Hao Yan, who was washing dishes in the kitchen, Tang Bao looked like she had seen a ghost. She walked over, looked at the water and bowls in the sink, and then looked at the foam on Di Hao Yan's hands. What are you doing? Washing dishes. Nonsense. Of course I know you're washing dishes. Excuse me, the president of tea came to my place to cook and wash dishes. Are you taking things too hard? Is it strange that you're cooking and washing dishes for my wife and children? Yes, it's not strange, it's terrifying. Tang Bao roared in her heart. She said to Di Hao Yan calmly, put the dishes there and wait for the maid to come and wash them. What's the situation? She hasn't come yet. I've already fired her. Tang Bao couldn't believe it. If you fire her, who's going to cook for the children and take care of them? Me. Tang Bao looked at him as if she had been struck by lightning. Don't tell me you're here during the day too. You don't have to take care of tea anymore. I can take care of it even if I'm not here. Chapter 703. At that time, she was in the castle. When she was pregnant, Di Hao Yan could not go to tea for a few months, and tea would not have any turbulence. This was what made him so powerful. No one dared to rebel. But you can ignore the company, but I really don't like you staying here all the time, bastard. Tang Bao turned around and saw the two children playing on the sofa in the living room. She steadied her temper and said, can we talk in the study? There were some things that Tang Bao did not want to say in front of the children. She did not want the children to think that Di Hao Yan was an intruder that she could not deal with, which would cause them to feel uneasy. Therefore, on the surface, she was not very repulsed by Di Hao Yan. She tried her best to remain calm in her words. After entering the study and closing the door, Tang Bao was furious. What's the matter with you? You're not going to leave, are you? Di Hao Yan looked at her flustered and exasperated expression. He stepped forward, grabbed her waist, and pulled her into his arms. He hugged her tightly. Tang Bao felt her heart beating wildly. Di Hao Yan's arms were so tight that her whole body was pressed into his flesh and blood. She felt Di Hao Yan's heart beating steadily, but it was rapid. It was as if he was nervous that he was gradually losing everything that belonged to him. Was she hallucinating? If I leave, I'll take the children with me. Tang Bao's face darkened. She really was imagining things. She pushed Di Hao Yan away forcefully. Di Hao Yan's face was expressionless, but his eyes were firmly locked on her, as if they were a deep darkness that controlled everything. Tang Bao was familiar with Di Hao Yan's eyes and his methods. Even if they had not seen each other for 3 years, Di Hao Yan's ferocity and ruthlessness would not disappear. He was just useless. Just like he said at the beginning, I can use force, but I don't want to. You said last night that you won't take the child away. Tang Bao looked at him angrily. Di Hao Yan's dark eyes sparkled like stars. He stepped forward and pulled Tang Bao into his arms again. He pressed her head against his chest and said in a low and hoarse voice, yes, I've said it before. As long as you're by my side and don't think about leaving me, I won't take the child away. Tang Bao felt a headache coming on. Was Di Hao Yan threatening her with the child? Even when Tang Bao was sitting in the car, she still felt her temples throbbing in pain. Di Hao Yan's appearance disrupted everything. After leaving for 3 years, she did not prepare for anything that might happen. She did not expect to see Di Hao Yan again. She even felt that she would only dress up as a man and live like a man for the rest of her life. This was really, no matter how difficult the job was, it was not even 1/10 of the difficulty of dealing with Di Hao Ian. At this moment, Di Hao Ian was sitting on the sofa with his long legs crossed. His serious expression made it seem as if he was facing the head of state or dealing with a contract worth tens of billions. In fact, the two babies, Bao and Bao, were sitting on the sofa opposite him. Their legs were too short, so they could not reach the ground even if they were sitting on the sofa. However, the two babies' expressions seemed to be more serious, and they were even frowning. Di Hao Ian raised his eyebrows and tapped his fingers on his thighs casually. He said, "Do you have something to say to me? Are you going to marry my daddy?" Bao asked. Di Hao Ian, "I know. I saw a wedding on TV last time." Xiao Bao's eyes lit up like light bulbs. "Xiao Bao, don't say anything." Bao stopped her. "Oh." Xiao Bao looked at her fingers pitifully. Di Hao Ian raised his eyebrows. That was quite his style. "I do want to marry her. You don't agree?" Di Hao Ian asked on purpose. He thought to himself, "I'm already married to your mommy. It's not up to you to disagree. I think you're not good enough for my daddy." Bao still remembered the details of marriage customs he had seen on TV and in books. "Tell me about it." Di Hao Ian crossed his arms and listened attentively. "If you marry my daddy, you have to at least have a house, a car, and some savings. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's enough for my daddy to not have to work for the rest of his life," Bao said in a young and powerful voice. His requirements were quite practical in this era. It might be too high for others, but it was too cheap for Di Hao Ian. "I have all these. Of course, in addition to these, I can also satisfy your desires." Bao thought for a moment and said, "You have to marry 7 wives for me." Di Hao Ian raised his eyebrows. What kind of request was that? Wasn't this kid's appetite a little too big? "Why 7? 7 days a week. 7 wives. They will take turns to serve my daddy every day," Bao said very seriously. Di Hao Ian's expression trembled. "There's no need for that. I'll serve your daddy." Unless he wanted to be reincarnated early, others would serve him. Then he looked at Xiao Bao, who had been muted. "What do you want?" Xiao Bao didn't say anything. Instead, she looked at Bao with puffed-up cheeks and blinked her big eyes as if asking, "Can I speak now?" Bao said, "Speak." Then Xiao Bao said, "I want to eat strawberry cake every day." Di Hao Ian nodded. "I'll make it for you personally." "Wow, that's great. So, Uncle, when are you getting married to my daddy?" Xiao Bao immediately sold her daddy out. She felt that marriage seemed to be fun. "I haven't agreed to it yet." Bao was furious. This was the first time he had raised his voice at his sister. Xiao Bao pointed at him pitifully. Bao looked at Xiao Bao reluctantly. However, he felt that his daddy was also very important. He looked at Di Hao Ian and said, "I need to think about it." With that said, he took Xiao Bao's hand and returned to their room. Di Hao Ian pondered deeply. Sure enough, daughters were like little cotton-padded jackets, while sons were like iron shirts. Once they returned to their room, Xiao Bao buried her head under the blanket. She didn't want to say anything. She wanted to tell her brother that she was angry and that the consequences would be severe. "Xiao Bao." Bao stood by the bed and called out to her. "I can't hear you." Xiao Bao's voice was muffled under the blanket. "I shouldn't have been so fierce to you just now," Bao said with an unnatural expression. His face was also red. "Humph." Xiao Bao still didn't listen. Bao looked at Xiao Bao, throwing a tantrum. Finally, he said, "All right then, I'll go look for Daddy. You stay at home alone." Xiao Bao's round body immediately got up from the bed. "No, brother, you can't leave me alone." She hurriedly got down from the bed. She grabbed Bao's hand. "Brother, I'm not angry anymore. Actually, I'm not angry. I want to go with brother. Daddy is working. We can't disturb him," Bao said. "Huh, you're right, brother." The naive Xiao Bao didn't realize that she had been coaxed by her brother. Chapter 704. Xiao Bao shook his head. "No. So, you have to listen to me. You can't agree with that person casually, you know?" Well, I'll listen to my brother. Don't eat the cake he gives you. That I also listen to my brother. It's a little reluctant. I nod, and you can eat it. Bao still can't see her aggrieved appearance. Good. Xiao Bao was immediately excited. As soon as Tang Bao entered the company, someone was waiting for her in the office. It was Cheng Yuexin, who was angry at Meng Shi and Cheng Ju. Meng Shi has always been, I don't care who you are, I'm not afraid of the emperor. When Meng Shi saw Tang Bao coming in, he immediately walked over. Go, are you in a good mood? Is it bad to see a mad dog in the office? This protective appearance is very Tang Bao's heart, but he still has to pretend on the surface. Manager Cheng, why don't you pour her a cup of tea when she comes here? Can I put rat poison in the tea? Asked Meng Shi seriously. Tang Bao doesn't pay any more attention to him. He turns to see Cheng Yuexin, who has been ignored and is about to explode. He puts his briefcase on the table and asks, What's the matter with Manager Cheng coming to me? Tango, are you behind the scenes? What's the matter? The heroine of Legend of Mi Fei was originally played by Yao Yao. How could it become Cheng Ju after a night? What is it if you're not behind the scenes? Don't tell me you asked Cheng Ju to sleep with you. Tang Bao's face is cold. Cheng Ju's face changed over there. He didn't speak, but he was angry. Meng Shi is so angry that his fingers are about to reach Cheng Yuexin's face. Can you say it again? I never hit a woman. I don't mind letting you be the first one. Our Cheng Jue is not as shameless as you. Not only did you make your female artist sleep with the investor, the director, and the screenwriter, but you also F*King slept with your own male artist, a male model in a bar, and even climbed into Liang Jichao's bed. I'm thinking, should I send the evidence of you sleeping with Liang Jichao to his wife? I heard that Liang Jichao's wife is pregnant with a second child now. Do you want to try? You. What about me? Get the hell out of here. If you keep barking here, I'll cripple you. Cheng Yuexin's face is colorful and beautiful. After taking a few deep breaths, he spat out a few words. Just you wait. After saying that, he left. Cheng Yuexin dare not provoke Meng Shi. After all, Meng Shi is a rich second generation. If she had known that Meng Shi was here, she would never have looked for Tango here. However, Meng Shi was not afraid of anything. He could do whatever he wanted. If she went against him directly, he might post something on Weibo in the next second. He dared to post anything on Weibo. Meng Shi saw that Cheng Yuexin was angry and left. He was in a good mood. He reached out and hooked Cheng Ju's neck. How about it? Aren't I handsome? Do you want to thank me? Cheng Ju moved her lips. Thank you. Are you going to compete with me in front of Tango in the future? Cheng Ju was speechless. Tango went back to his seat. What are you quarreling with her for? Meng Shi immediately pounced on Tang Bao with an aggrieved face and lay on the desk in front of him. Go. Don't you think she is a bully? In the company, relying on her improper relationship with Liang Jichao, she can do whatever she wants. Tang Bao certainly knows Cheng Yuexin's character, but she can climb to this position not only because she climbs to Liang Jichao's bed, but also because she has a lot of means, which is disgusting. Meng Shi thought of something and asked, You don't like Cheng Yuexin, do you? I heard that Cheng Yuexin wants to have something with you. I warn you, if you dare to look at her, I will. Tang Bao looked at him lazily. What are you? Why don't you say it? I'll die for you to see. Cheng Ju whispered, No future. Cheng Ju, I heard what you said. Meng Shi was angry. Is there anything wrong? Tang Ge has an affair with Cheng Yuexin in the face of my first love. It will be disgusting, okay? Tang Bao thinks that Cheng Yuexin is nothing, but he has a headache because of Meng Shi. I don't want to talk about this topic, so I said to Cheng Ju, I've talked to Wang Xiaodao on the phone when I came here. I'll join the group tomorrow. You can get ready. I'll see your progress in 2 days. Okay. Cheng Ju smiles happily. I'm going too. Meng Shi is not willing to be ignored. Tang Bao, to see Ju filming? Yes. Why should I see her? Is she better looking than me? Of course, I'll go with you. Are you very free? What do you mean? I'll give you a holiday for the next few days, and then I have a script here. I'll show you then. Just help me decide. What do you say? Meng Shi said coquettishly. Next to Cheng Ju, goosebumps fell to the ground. Tang Bao is used to anyway. He doesn't hear it. Meng, she turned his head. Qingju, why are you still here? You can go out first. I have something to whisper to Brother Tang. Brother Tang, I'll go get busy first. Go ahead. Tang Bao looked at Meng Shi. What do you have to whisper to me? Can't you get along with other artistes? Get along? Ever since I entered the entertainment industry, I don't know what it means to get along. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't even be willing to talk to them. It's lowering my level. All right, Brother Tang, what happened last night? Do you know that man? Your friend? Meng Shi has been thinking about this matter, causing him to not sleep well last night. What should Tang Bao say? The child's father? Ex-husband? Definitely not. He's still a man now. It's a friend I used to know. After Tang Bao finished speaking, he realized that Meng Shi's eyes were fixed on him. Is there something on me? What's the problem? Go. Ever since I met you, other than you and your 2 children, I don't understand you at all. You actually have a friend like that. What kind of friend? Didn't you see that car of his? It's even more expensive than a plane. The key is that there's nowhere to buy it, even if you have money. Meng Shi became agitated again when he thought of that car. I say, why are you so calm? Tang Bao wanted to say, what's there to be agitated about? Di Hao Ian's watch is almost as expensive as a plane. Moreover, there are many watches in the castle that are as expensive as planes. Are you so calm because you can be with this friend of yours all the time? Since your relationship is so good, why haven't I heard you mention it before? What's there to say? Do I have to tell all my friends? Shouldn't you? Chapter 705. With our relationship, that's how it should be. For example, if you want to know something about me, I'll definitely tell you everything. Go. Are you hiding something from me? Meng Shi moved his face closer to Tang Bao. Tang Bao stepped back and distanced himself from Meng Shi. What can I hide from you? Besides, why must I tell you something? I have to work. Get out. Meng Shi pursed his lips and looked at him pitifully. Why aren't you leaving? Tang Bao's face turned cold and stern. Meng Shi was not afraid of anyone, not even his father. However, when Tang Bao's face turned cold, he obediently did as he was told. He left the office feeling extremely wronged. Tang Bao heaved a sigh of relief. He really touched a sore spot. Didn't he know that she hated mentioning Di Hao Ian the most? During lunch, Tang Bao called home. A young child's voice came through. Hello. Bao, have you eaten? Daddy. Bao's eyes lit up, and he glanced at the kitchen. That strange person is cooking. Tang Bao did not need to ask. He did not know who the strange person Bao was talking about was. Was he really going to stay at home to take care of the children? He was not going to tea anymore. Oh, I got it. After Tang Bao put down the phone, she thought that Di Hao Ian would definitely not let the 2 children go hungry. They were his own flesh and blood. She remembered how much Di Hao Ian cared about their first child. Therefore, he could do this because he cared about them. In the afternoon, Tang Bao was working when his phone rang. When he saw that it was from home, he quickly answered it. Bao's voice came from the other end. Daddy, that strange person asked another stranger to move a lot of things into the house. What things? Tang Bao frowned. Those things can bake cakes. The fridge is also filled with a lot of food that I've never seen before, Bao said. I got it. I'll go back earlier today. After Tang Bao hung up the phone, he fell into deep thought. It was obvious that Di Hao Ian wanted to stay here. The food that he brought over must be the same as the food in the castle. He wanted to give it to the children. Tang Bao felt a little insecure and suspected Di Hao Ian's real purpose for staying here. If the children liked what Di Hao Ian gave them, and Di Hao Ian told them that he was their daddy, would they follow Di Hao Ian? Di Hao Ian put the cake on the table, and the whole room was filled with the aroma of cream. Xiao Bao, who was sitting in the living room, did not know how many times she swallowed her saliva. If her brother didn't say anything, she would definitely not eat it. Xiao Bao saw that her brother was only looking at the book in his hand. She leaned over and whispered, Brother, do you want to eat? Bao was a little distracted, not because he wanted to eat, but because Xiao Bao's desire to eat was affecting him. Di Hao Qian glanced at the 2 people in the living room and said, Aren't you coming over to eat? Bao finally relented and said to Bao, "You go and eat. If brother doesn't want to eat, I won't eat either." Bao wanted to tell her brother that she had a backbone. Ian simply took the cake to the coffee table in the living room, right under their noses. Not only was there cream on the cake, but there were also strawberries and all kinds of fruits on top. It looked delicious. Bao couldn't help but swallow her saliva again. Her little eyes glanced at the cake from time to time. Ian sat down on the sofa and looked at Bao's indifferent little face. Then he looked at Bao, who was about to drool. With a calm expression, he said, "This was your daddy's favorite cake in the past." Bao's expression changed, and his gaze fell on the cake. Bao immediately said, "Brother, I want to know what kind of cake daddy likes to eat." Bao knew that she had been wanting to eat it for a long time, so he didn't stop her. "You can eat it." Ian saw that although Bao had agreed, Bao still didn't take the cake. Instead, she looked at Ian with a red face. Ian was amused by her appearance. He personally picked up the cake for her and gave her a small spoon. "The cake I made is very healthy. You can eat as much as you want." Bao took the cake with a red face. Just as she was about to eat it, she glanced at her silent brother. Thus, she scooped up a spoonful of cake, held back her saliva, and brought it to her brother's mouth. Bao looked up at her. He really didn't want to eat it. Couldn't Ian tell? This kid was so arrogant that he didn't want to accept the cake he made for him. "Don't you want to know what kind of cake your daddy used to like to eat?" Ian asked. "My daddy never eats cake," Bao said. "She doesn't eat the ones sold outside. She only eats the ones I make." Bao didn't say anything. He seemed to be thinking about the truth of his words. But if he didn't eat a bite, would Bao be sad? In the end, Bao ate the cake on Bao's spoon with a forced expression. He held it in his mouth. It was fragrant and sweet, but it wasn't the kind of sweet that Bao used to eat. It melted in her mouth. "Wow, it's so delicious." Bao had already eaten a bite. She swallowed it faster than Bao. "Okay, you guys eat slowly. I'll go clean up the kitchen." Ian glanced at the children, stood up, and left the living room. Bao immediately grabbed a piece of cake and stuffed it into Bao's hand. "Brother, eat it. It's delicious. Don't you like to eat it? I'll give it all to you." "No. If brother doesn't eat it, the cake won't be as delicious." Bao couldn't really express her feelings. But Bao understood. Under Bao's innocent and expectant gaze, Bao still took a piece of cake and ate it. This person was a good cook. The cake was also good. But he wouldn't say what was on his mind. After eating the cake, the two little people stood on the balcony and played. There was a green lawn below. It was the community's activity area. There were also slides and swings that the children liked to play on. There were also many children in the community playing there. "I want to go down for a walk. You guys come with me," Ian said as he stood behind them. Bao's big eyes lit up. "Really? Are we going down to the grass?" "Yes," Ian said. He looked at Bao's arrogant face and didn't say anything. He went forward and carried the two of them up by one arm each. "Wow, Uncle is so awesome. He can carry me and brother, but Daddy can't carry us," Bao exclaimed in surprise. Ian thought of Bao. His dark eyes flashed with gentleness. "But Uncle? Why'd it sound so awkward?" He had to correct this form of address. Since there were children playing on a lawn below, there must be adults accompanying them. Men needed to work. The only people accompanying them would be their mothers. When Ian appeared, the young women's eyes were fixed on him. Their faces were red and their hearts were beating fast as they huddled together. Chapter 706. I haven't seen him before either. Is he a new resident? But he's so handsome. He's even more handsome than a TV star. That's his child, right? Wow, that son is exactly the same as him. So cute. I wonder which woman's husband is he. I'm so envious. Ian bought a football and stepped on it. "Do you know how to kick?" he asked. Bao looked at the ball. He wanted to play, but he tried his best to resist. Ian exerted a little force with the tip of his foot and kicked Bao's foot. "Do you see the net in front? If you kick it in, you win." These words simply aroused Bao's desire to fight. This was an emotion that he had never felt before, because no one had ever played football with him before. Daddy had never played before either. Erbao raised his foot and kicked the ball towards the net. The kick traveled quite a distance, but it was still quite far from the net. Just as he was about to kick a second time, it was intercepted by D. Hao Ian halfway. Erbao was stunned. He lifted his short legs and chased after the ball, wanting to snatch the ball back from D. Hao Ian's foot. "Brother, you can do it! Brother, you can do it!" Xiao Bao jumped and clapped her hands not far away. She was very happy. Di Hao Ian kicked the ball to Xiao Bao's side, then picked her up with one hand and followed Erbao under his foot to snatch the ball. Erbao looked for opportunities to kick the ball towards the net, but it was always hooked by Di Hao Ian's long leg, and the ball changed direction. However, he was not discouraged. He was determined to snatch the ball. Xiao Bao, who was in his arms, could feel the eagerness to participate even more. She kept shouting. Her laughter could be heard from afar. She was very happy. He juiced it outside the lawn and looked at the scene. He felt very emotional. The Tang Bao was found. The two children were safe and sound, and they were growing so well. If Wang Malay knew, he would be very happy. Fortunately, they were all fine. The family was finally reunited. He wondered how the young master was sleeping now. Although there were still dark circles under his eyes, his complexion looked much better and was no longer as gloomy as before. The bodyguards behind him were still setting up a stand and setting up a stall. After setting it up, Hiju walked over and started to make all kinds of desserts, ice cream, and fruit drinks suitable for children. Of course, these are not comparable to those bought outside. These nutrients cannot be bought outside. Needless to say, this stall was set up for the two young masters. However, if other children came to buy it, they couldn't refuse. "Mommy, I want to eat this." A child grabbed a woman's hand and pointed at the ice cream on the billboard. Hiju didn't say a word and started cooking. A dignified first-class bodyguard had become a dessert master. Such a change was really too big, especially since he was wearing a suit. Fortunately, her hands weren't out of practice, and an ice cream was ready in a short while. After chasing the ball for a long time, Erbao finally kicked it into the net. The moment he kicked it in, he turned his head and gave Di Hao Ian a victorious smile. This was the first time Di Hao Ian saw him smile. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up as he walked forward. Very impressive. Erbao, who was praised, was a little embarrassed. He turned his face away and saw a scene not far away. Many children were crowded in front of a stall to buy food. "Let's go and buy some food." Di Hao Ian patted the two babies' heads with his big hand. Erbao was obviously not as repulsed as before, but he was a little embarrassed. The two babies stood in front of the stall and looked at the two children up close. Both of their little faces were so cute and flawless. The emotions in Hiju's heart surged. However, he still held it in. Hiju knew that he looked cold, so he deliberately lowered his voice and asked, "What do you want to eat? We have everything here. I want to eat this." Xiao Bao's short fingers poked at the billboard, her little face red. It was an ice cream with cute strawberries on it. "I want to drink juice." "Okay, please wait a moment. It'll be ready in a minute." Hiju began to make it. As he did so, he didn't forget to look at the two children for time. The three of them sat on a bench by the lawn. The two children sat together while Di Hao Ian sat on the edge, watching the two children eat and drink. Di Hao Ian looked at their innocent and tender faces. Their two little faces were flushed from the exercise. Xiao Bao was full of joy when she had food to eat. As she ate, her short legs swayed, showing her satisfaction. It was delicious. She had never eaten such delicious ice cream before. Erbao's defense was obviously much lower today. He was not as guarded against Di Hao Ian as yesterday. After all, he was a 3-year-old child. Besides, he felt that it was really fun to play football with that uncle just now. He didn't know if he could play football again in the future. "We can come and play any time in the future." Di Hao Ian naturally saw the desire in the child's eyes and said, "Really? Will there still be ice cream to eat?" Xiao Bao's food was the most important thing. "Yes." Di Hao Ian pinched her little nose. Although Bao didn't say anything, one could see the sparkle in his clear, black eyes. Di Hao Ian looked at Bao and said, "After eating, let's play for a while more." "Okay." Bao agreed. Tang Bao went home after work. As soon as the car entered the neighborhood, she saw a tall and eye-catching figure on the lawn not far away. It was so dazzling that it was hard not to see him. Tang Bao got out of the car and saw Di Haotian holding Xiao Bao in one hand while playing football with Bao. Bao was not a person who was easy to get to know. Di Haotian actually broke through his defense in just one day. Tang Bao was a little dazed as she looked at the happy scene. When she left with the two children, she only had a few 100,000 yuan on her. In the beginning, she took care of the children herself and didn't let anyone else take care of them. Naturally, she couldn't go to work when she had to take care of them. After she could work, she handed the children over to the nanny. Occasionally, she would take the children to the suburbs and the amusement park during her breaks. However, she could never get into the role of daddy. For example, she had never played football with the children. However, looking at such a heartwarming scene, she felt a little uneasy. Perhaps she was too afraid that the children would be taken away by Di Haotian. More accurately, she was worried that the children would want to leave with Di Haotian. What would she do if that happened? Tang Bao's gaze wavered slightly. She saw a stall not far away from the lawn. She saw the things sold at the stall and the people standing in the stall. Her expression twitched. Ju nodded respectfully at her. Tang Bao looked away expressionlessly. Daddy! The two children saw Tang Bao in the distance and ran towards her. Tang Bao looked at them, and the depression in her heart instantly disappeared. She walked forward. She squatted down and hugged them. However, she realized that they were covered in sweat. They must have played for a long time. Chapter 707. Di Haotian looked at the scene. His heart was as warm as the sea, and it enveloped the three of them. He walked up to them, and his gaze fell on Tang Bao for a long time. Tang Bao stood up and looked into Di Haotian's deep, dark eyes. His pupils constricted. Daddy, Uncle took us to play just now. He even bought us food. Xiao Bao grabbed Tang Bao's hand and shook it, trying to divert Tang Bao's attention. Is it delicious? It's super delicious. Xiao Bao's big eyes lit up. Tang Bao patted Bao's head and smiled at him. He took their hands and said, Let's go. I'll bathe you too when we get home. You're all sweaty from playing. Tang Bao walked in front. Di Haotian did not say a word, but he followed behind silently. Tang Bao could sense who Di Haotian was following. She wondered if Di Haotian would appear in front of her from now on. She really did not like this feeling at all. When they got home, Tang Bao bathed the two little guys who were drenched from playing. They took turns bathing one by one. He bathed Xiao Bao first. After that, he bathed Bao. As soon as they entered, Tang Bao filled the bathtub with water. He turned around and saw Bao taking off his clothes. His fair and tender little body was very adorable. Come, sit down. Tang Bao pulled Bao into the bathtub. Bao washed himself while Tang Bao helped him. Did you have fun today? Daddy is very sorry that I neglected you because of work. It's okay. Daddy is working for me and Xiao Bao. Bao's tender little face was serious as he said, I hope that I can grow up quickly. When I work and earn money, I can support Daddy. Daddy won't have to work so hard. Tang Bao's heart melted. He stepped forward and kissed his son's forehead. Daddy is not tired. Daddy is very happy to work for you. Bao, Daddy is already very happy to have you by my side. Xiao Bao and I will always be by Daddy's side. Bao promised. Good girl. Tang Bao looked at his sensible son. Even if it was 100 times harder than now, she was willing to do it. She had worked so hard to give birth to them. She loved them so much. Daddy, do you hate that person? Bao suddenly asked. Tang Bao knew who Bao was referring to. Hateful? That's not the case. If I say that I don't hate him, does that mean that I agree that Di Haotian is here? It wasn't what she thought either. She could only say, adults' matters are more complicated. You don't have to worry about Daddy. Daddy can handle it. Bao nodded and said nothing more. Anyway, he already had his own thoughts in his little heart. No matter what, Daddy was the most important thing. The bathroom door opened and Di Haotian walked in. He leaned lazily against the wall and looked at them. Dinner's ready. Tang Bao wiped the water off Bao's little face. Is it done? It's done. Tang Bao was about to wipe Bao when Di Hao Yin took the towel from his hand. Go and change your clothes. They're wet. Tang Bao looked down at his clothes. They were indeed wet. Seeing that Bao didn't mind, he turned around and left the bathroom. As soon as Tang Bao left, Di Hao Yin asked, "Don't you know how to bathe yourself?" "Of course I know how to bathe. I also know how to dress myself." Bao was immediately unhappy. It felt terrible to be looked down upon. He disliked having Daddy by his side. However, he couldn't let this person know. Otherwise, he would be looked down upon. Di Hao Yin threw the towel and his hand away and covered Bao's head delicately. Bao's little face was also completely covered. Bao was so angry that his face turned red. He tore the towel off his face and pointed his little finger at the door. "Get out." Di Hao Yin raised his eyebrows. He had a bad temper, but he didn't argue with him. He turned around and left. Di Hao Yin went straight into the room after he left the bathroom. Tang Bao, who was changing his clothes, was stunned. He steadied himself and quickly put on his home clothes. As he put on his clothes, he asked, "Is Bao done with his clothes?" He dressed himself. "I wanted to help him, but I was chased out." Di Hao Yin spouted nonsense in a serious manner. Although Tang Bao was puzzled, he thought that Bao might not be used to being too exposed in front of strangers. He didn't care too much about it. Anyway, Bao would take care of him. Not only would he take care of himself, but he would also take care of Xiao Bao. This made her worry a lot less. Tang Bao put on his clothes and was about to go out. Just as he turned around, his body was grabbed by Di Hao Yin's arm. Tang Bao was restrained. He couldn't help but be angry. "What are you doing?" Di Hao Yin didn't say anything. He stared at him with his deep black eyes, but his hand touched the white cloth binding his chest. Tang Bao froze. He struggled and lowered his voice. "Di Hao Yin, what are you doing? Are you comfortable being tied up?" No matter how much Tang Bao struggled, Di Hao Yin didn't budge at all. "What does it have to do with you whether I'm comfortable or not? Everything about you is related to me." Di Hao Yin's black eyes were calm, but very deep. They were like a dark whirlpool that was about to swallow her. Tang Bao wanted to talk about the things that had nothing to do with him. After thinking about it, he could only talk about the things that had happened in the past 3 years because Di Hao Yin was really involved in everything else. "My current job and the people I know have nothing to do with you. Your job and the people you know are all doing it to earn money. Isn't earning money to raise our child? The child has nothing to do with me?" Tang Bao's face was taut, and his breath was stuck in his chest. He was extremely depressed, and his expression was ugly. If what Di Hao Yin said was true, she really couldn't cut ties with Di Hao Yin. It was just that she didn't want to admit it. Just as she stubbornly looked into Di Hao Yin's eyes, something was stuffed into her hand. Tang Bao was slightly stunned. He looked down, and his eyes widened in shock. He saw that the crystal little wolf dog was in her palm. Even after 3 years, she could still recognize the little wolf dog at first glance. At that time, she often held it in her palm and hugged it to sleep. She imagined it being hugged by her. Tang Bao endured the turmoil in his heart and the pain in his memory and asked, "What are you doing?" "I'm giving it to you." Tang Bao looked at him. What did he mean? All right, she had told Di Hao Yin before that this was a gift from him. "I've already returned it to you." Tang Bao passed the little wolf dog to him, but his entire hand was wrapped. "I don't want it." "No," Di Hao Yin said firmly. Then he slightly restrained his quiet gaze and wrapped it around her so deeply. "Bao, I said I don't want it, so I don't want it." Tang Bao shook his hand forcefully. The little wolf dog flew out of his hand and fell to the ground. It rolled a few times alone, looking pitiful as if it had been abandoned. Chapter 708. Tang Bao turned around and closed his eyes. His voice was hoarse as he said, "I said, don't force me. Since I've returned your things to you, I don't want them anymore. I've already left. Why did you appear again? My life was originally very peaceful. Why did you appear again? Why?" Di Hao Yin did not say anything. He walked over and bent down to pick up the puppy on the ground. He only remembered that the pain in his chest was acting up again, as if it was uncontrollable. It was a heart-wrenching pain. At that time, he tore apart the 3 obediences and 4 virtues in front of Tang Bao. Was it also this painful? All of this was what he should bear. Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyan, who had his back facing him. He could not see his expression clearly. His hand was covering his left chest, and his tall and straight body was slightly bent. "What are you doing?" Tang Bao asked with a frown. "Nothing. You guys eat first. I'll go out for a while." After Di Haoyan finished speaking, he did not look at Tang Bao. He opened the door and went out. Tang Bao was stunned. What's wrong with Di Haoyan? Is he deliberately trying to attract my attention? What is he trying to do? When he walked out of the room, the 2 children in the living room looked puzzled. After Di Haoyan went out, he called Hiju. His breathing was heavy. "Medicine." Hiju went upstairs and passed the medicine to Di Haoyan. Di Haoyan took the medicine without drinking water. Hiju looked up and saw Tang Bao at the door not far away. Tang Bao opened the door and saw Di Haoyan taking the medicine. What medicine is he taking? Is he not feeling well? Tang Bao found it strange. After Di Haoyan appeared, he did not see anything wrong with his body. He only saw the dark circles under his eyes. Hiju thought that there was nothing else for him to do, so he turned around and went downstairs. Di Haoyan felt someone behind him. He turned around and looked calm as if nothing had happened. "Why did you come out? Didn't you say we should eat first?" Di Haoyan's black eyes were calm and deep. "What medicine are you taking? Are you not feeling well?" Tang Bao asked. "Vitamins." Tang Bao thought to himself, "Do you think I'm still as naive as before?" However, since it was no longer the same as before, why should she care? If you're not feeling well, then don't stay here. Tang Bao turned around and walked into the house with a cold face. His body was immediately impacted. MMM. Tang Bao's little hand was bitten tightly. Tang Bao's eyes widened. Is this guy crazy? Shouldn't he have either turned around and left after she said those cold words, or scolded her fiercely? Why was it like this? Yes, this kind of treatment was even more unacceptable to her than being ruthless. Tang Bao pushed hard, but he could not push away Di Haoyan's brute force. Di Haoyan stopped what he was doing, but he did not let go of her hand. He pressed his face against hers and said, "I don't have to be here." Tang Bao was suspicious. Is he so easy to talk to? Even if I'm not here, you have to leave with me. His coarse and hot breath blew on her face. She knew that Di Haoyan was not someone who was easy to get rid of. His methods were forceful, domineering, and unpredictable. Tang Bao accepted that she could not win against Di Haoyan. There was nothing to be ashamed of, because the other party was the king of D City. She breathed rapidly, but did not speak. Does this mean you agree? Di Haoyan's voice was low and hoarse. Agree? Her hand was bitten. How could she speak? Fine, let her speak, right? She said yes. She struggled hard, trying to free her hands. I'll definitely. Just as she said those 3 words, her hands that had not been freed were caught again. After returning to the house, Tang Bao's face was abnormally red. That was caused by Di Haoyan. She was also a little dizzy and tried to recover. Seeing the 2 children in the living room, she quickly said, "Are you hungry? Come and eat." At the dining table, the 2 children sat on one side, while Di Haoyan and Tang Bao sat on the other side. Tang Bao knew that he could not chase this person away, so he could only ignore her. However, the atmosphere was very strange. Even the 2 children blinked and looked around. "Daddy, why is your mouth swollen? Does it hurt?" Xiao Bao asked. Her Bao also looked at her worriedly. Tang Bao almost spat out the food in her mouth. She said sternly, "Eat your food." The 2 children immediately lowered their heads to eat and stopped talking. They felt that their daddy should be fine since he was so fierce. At night, Di Haoyan still slept in Tang Bao's room and on Tang Bao's bed. Unable to keep him outside the door, Tang Bao could only stay far away from him. Di Haoyan lay on the bed, as usual. His dark eyes looked at Tang Bao, who was standing beside the bed. "Are you going to stand all night?" Di Haoyan asked. Tang Bao stared at him and did not say anything. If possible, she really wanted to stand here all night. Did he have a problem with that? You've already slept together for a night. There's no need to be shy. Di Hao Ian's lips curled up slightly. He looked at her as if she was his prey. Are you going to let Bao and Xiao Bao know that their daddy is sleeping on the same bed with a strange uncle all day long? Di Hao Ian's dark eyes flickered with a deep luster. Indeed, I shouldn't have. She should not have called him uncle. Then when are you leaving? Give me a deadline. No. Tang Bao was furious. What do you mean by no? Are you going to stay here with me forever and never return to D City? She believed that it was unrealistic for D City to be without Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian, D City has tea and your family. Aren't you going to care? I only know that my family is here. Where do you want it to go? Tang Bao was shocked by his words and could not say anything to refute him. Because the two babies were his sons and were his family, there was nothing wrong with it. However, Tang Bao did not believe that Di Hao Ian could not tell that the family she was referring to was Yu Songhuan. It was more likely that it was Lan Wan. Di Hao Ian saw that Tang Bao was in a daze and went forward to pull her onto the bed. Tang Bao was not paying attention and was taken advantage of by Di Hao Ian. She shifted her gaze and was on the bed. Could this man not use this trick every time? Tang Bao stared blankly at the chiseled face above her. It was overbearing and dominating, occupying her entire vision. Then, Di Hao Ian's face started to press down. Tang Bao looked at the face that was getting closer and closer. She wanted to struggle, but Tang Bao was held down and could not move. His thin lips pressed down accurately. Tang Bao closed her eyes tightly and gritted her teeth. She was determined not to let him take advantage of her. Di Hao Ian did not force Tang Bao. He just pressed his hands against hers and felt the velvety softness and the fragrance that made him infatuated. Tang Bao opened her eyes and glared at him fiercely. It was a signal for him to let go of her, or she would not be polite. Di Hao Ian moved away slightly and looked at her at the closest distance. Their breaths were intertwined, and it was hard to tell whose breath it was. Chapter 709. She could not see through the intention in Di Hao Ian's eyes. Her rapid breathing exposed her nervousness. Tang Bao could clearly feel the rough fingers on her face. It was a touch that could not be ignored. You only have two choices. 1, I'll stay by your side. What else? 2, you'll stay by my side. Tang Bao's elegant brows furrowed tightly. What's the difference? Of course, Di Hao answered matter-of-factly. Tang Bao was so angry that she was speechless. She was too lazy to talk to him. She pushed him. I want to sleep. Di Hao Ian did not move. I said I want. Tang Bao's mouth happened to be open, so Di Hao Ian seized the opportunity to attack her fiercely. She did not even have time to close her mouth. Di Hao Ian's behavior made her tremble, and she struggled violently. She did not want to be treated like this by Di Hao Ian. Tell me, have you ever thought of me in the past 3 years? Di Hao Ian's voice was rough and hoarse. No, no. Tang Bao felt that the only way she could breathe was being blocked by Di Hao Ian. She turned her face left and right. As the saying goes, the devil goes 10. No matter what Tang Bao did, Di Hao Ian had a way to make Tang Bao fail at the first moment. Why not? Because there's someone else? When Di Hao Ian asked this question, Tang Bao obviously felt that there was something wrong with his breath and tone. However, Tang Bao did not care about his thoughts and emotions. He only wanted her to let go of him. Yes, there's someone else. You can let go. She was bitten. Tang Bao stared at Di Hao Ian with watery eyes. Who? Tang Bao did not speak. Are you sure you don't want to tell me? Di Hao Ian's voice was threatening. Tang Bao was pinned down, but Di Hao Ian's body fell to the side. He didn't mind letting Tang Bao know that he carried a terrible emotion with him at this moment. Tang Bao's body stiffened almost at the same time. He wished that even his hair was frozen, and only his eyeballs were trembling. In these 3 years, she lived a pure and simple life. Not to mention being intimate with others, she kept a very far distance from any member of the opposite sex. In a place like the entertainment industry, there was no shortage of all kinds of handsome young men. She had several artists under her management, especially Meng Shi. His appearance was definitely one of the best in the entertainment industry. Coupled with his charming eyes, his appearance was impeccable, not to mention his way of coaxing girls. However, Tang Bao had never harbored any evil thoughts towards the young hunks around her. Forget about having evil thoughts. She had almost forgotten that she was actually a woman. Every day, he would play the role of a man, blending in and acting vividly. If it weren't for the fact that she was afraid of being recognized by people in the past, she felt that she was completely qualified for the Best Performance Oscar. She didn't want Di Hao Ian to know that she was still clean. It would be best if she said that she had had countless boyfriends in the past 3 years, so that he would dislike her and stay away from her. But at this very moment, she felt as if a cannon was pressed against her head. It seemed that if she said a single wrong word, she would be completely obliterated by the cannon's fire and fall apart. No, I'm just saying it casually. I don't even have time to take care of the children. Where would I have time to find someone else? Tang Bao had no choice but to speak and look away. You won't find someone else. Di Hao Ian's voice was suppressed together with his body. Tang Bao met Di Hao Ian's deep, sharp, and dark eyes and couldn't help but frown. Where did his confidence come from? If I'm wrong, I can test it in another way. What way? Don't tell me it's a lie detector. Tang Bao asked with a hint of ridicule. I can do it myself. Tang Bao's mind went blank for a moment. Then, she froze and her face turned hot. Di Hao Ian looked at the 3 different expressions on her face and thought that she was cute and interesting no matter how he looked at it. It made his eyes turn dark and gloomy, which made Tang Bao feel a little scared. I don't want to talk to you. I want to sleep. Go away. Tang Bao hadn't been in contact with Di Hao Ian for 3 years. She had almost forgotten about Di Hao Ian's evil and devil nature. It was so difficult to push Di Hao Ian away. She directly grabbed his hair and pulled it out. However, she pulled out dozens of his thick hair, but Di Hao Ian still didn't let go of her. In the end, Tang Bao was so exhausted that she was panting. Di Hao Ian held her in his arms, and she couldn't stop panting. Her whole body was weak and limp. It was quiet. Only the sound of their heartbeats could be heard. After a long time, Tang Bao felt suffocated in his strong chest and asked, Di Hao Ian, have you recovered your memory? She felt that the current Di Hao Ian was different from the Di Hao Ian who had lost his memory. She couldn't tell what the difference was. Perhaps it was the way he spoke and the tone he used. Do you want me to recover my memory? Di Hao Ian's face was pressed against her hair. His voice was low and hoarse. Tang Bao's thoughts paused for a moment. She was lost in thought. Did she want him to? If Di Hao Ian recovered his memory, would she go back with him? But why did she only feel bitter and uncomfortable? 3 years later, would it be the same as 3 years ago? It was as if going back was harder than leaving. Or, if he recovered his memory, would the person who lost his memory not be Di Hao Ian? It was just the same. It was just that he expressed his true emotions in a different way. Why did Di Hao Ian come to her? Was it because of her or the children? If she gave the children to Di Hao Ian, what was the meaning of her existence? Tang Bao closed her eyes and pursed her lips. She didn't answer Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian waited until the person in his arms breathed evenly. He knew that recovering his memory was not an excuse for hurting Tang Bao. So, he didn't say anything in the beginning. In fact, it didn't matter whether she recovered her memory or not. As long as this person was in his arms, it was enough. No matter what, he wouldn't let her have the chance to leave again. The next day, when she returned to the neighborhood after work, she saw Di Hao Ian playing with the 2 babies on the lawn. The words of the young women who passed by were filled with envy. He's the most handsome, stay-at-home dad in the world. If only my husband had 1/10 of this. Are you talking about his looks or his responsibility? Forget it. Let's wait until our next life. Tang Bao looked at the tall and straight figure in the distance and thought of the words stay-at-home dad. Needless to say, Di Hao Ian's idling attitude really corresponded to that. Tang Bao saw He Ju, who was still pretending to be a vendor, and couldn't help but walk over. He looked at the variety of desserts. These desserts don't have any additives. Children can eat as much as they want, He Ju said. Do you know who I am? Tang Bao looked up at He Ju and asked. Young madam, have you heard of Uga? Chapter 710. My name is Tangu. You can call me Tangu. There's no young madam here. Remember, Tang Bao pointed at him and turned to leave. Malay knows that you're dead. She's very sad. Tang Bao stopped in his tracks. The expression in his eyes changed, and he regained his emotions. He turned to look at him. Can't you just pretend that Tang Bao doesn't exist? The young master has been looking for you for the past 3 years. Tang Bao believed this. Was he chasing her for a child? Or was it a divorce? Or was it guilt? No matter what it was a little ridiculous to say it 3 years later. Thinking of something, Tang Bao turned around and walked towards Hiju. There's something I want to ask you. You don't have to say it. What medicine did Di Hao Ian take yesterday? Painkillers. Hiju didn't hide it. Although the young master didn't allow him to tell anyone, such a thing couldn't be hidden. What illness? Tang Bao was stunned. He's not sick, but his heart hurts. The doctor said that it's a psychological illness. You mean that his body is very good, but his heart hurts psychologically? His pain can't be seen in the hospital's examination, but you also noticed the young master's complexion yesterday. Tang Bao didn't say anything. She felt that Hiju was lying to her, but she couldn't deny that something was wrong with Di Hao Ian last night. It was as uncomfortable as if some illness had acted up. Also, the young master's insomnia is very serious. I'm sure you've noticed it. I didn't notice it. She only noticed the dark circles under Di Hao Ian's eyes. Hiju was speechless. Tang Bao looked at Hiju expressionlessly. All right, she did notice that Di Hao Ian's eyes were open at night, but that was the first night. She fell asleep after that. She worked very hard every day. Wasn't it normal for her to sleep until dawn? What I said is true. Young madam, please be careful. Tang Bao did not say anything more, as if Hiju's words were meaningless to her. She turned around and walked towards the lawn. As soon as the two little fellows saw her, they ran over. Tang Bao smiled warmly. Daddy can come back so early now? That way, Daddy will have a lot of time to spend with us at night? Xiao Bao looked up and asked with a blushing face. Tang Bao glanced at Di Hao Tian silently, as if to say, even if you accompany them every day as a stay-at-home dad, in their hearts, I am still the most important. Di Hao Ian just looked at her with a doting gaze. Tang Bao did not want to look him in the eye. He glanced at the dark circles under Tang Bao's eyes and then turned his face away. She thought about what Hiju had just said. Was Di Hao Ian really suffering from heart pain and insomnia because of psychological problems? Tang Bao remembered that when she was still in the castle, Di Hao Ian would often suddenly clutch his chest after he lost his memory. So, his problem was real. Di Hao Ian looked at the two children and said, after dinner, let's go shopping together. That way, Daddy can accompany you all the time. The last sentence stunned Tang Bao. Xiao Bao immediately jumped up and grabbed his hand coquettishly. Daddy, let's go, let's go. Daddy hasn't gone out with us for a long time. Tang Bao looked at her Bao. Although her Bao did not say anything, he still looked at him with sparkling eyes. Tang Bao was no longer willing to go shopping with Di Hao Ian, but the look in the eyes of the two children made her unable to say no. Okay. Tang Bao forced a smile. At night, they really went to the shopping mall. The four of them sat in the back seat of Tang Bao's car. Tang Bao was carrying Xiao Bao, and Di Hao Ian was carrying Er Bao. This kind of family of four was really awkward. Tang Bao turned her head and looked out the car window. From the rear-view mirror, she could see that Di Hao Ian's black car and bodyguards were following them from a distance. Since he had already driven the car here, why didn't he just sit in the back? Why do you have to squeeze in here? Due to Di Hao Ian's demonic nature, she remained silent. When they arrived at the shopping mall, the two children were the happiest. They were like happy little birds, flapping their wings and looking here and there. Tang Bao and Di Hao Ian followed behind silently. For some reason, the atmosphere was awkward. Di Hao Ian turned around and looked at Tang Bao with a slightly restrained gaze. 3 years ago, before he lost his memory, he had gone shopping with Tang Bao. Every scene was still vivid in his mind. They drank drinks and bought a little wolf dog. He wondered if she still remembered. Wait, After Di Haotian said that, he turned around and went to a shop that they passed by. Tang Bao looked over and saw that it was a beverage shop. Not long after, Di Haotian came back with the drinks. Tang Bao looked at the two children in front of her, who were curiously looking at something, and said, "You didn't buy theirs? They don't even have time to play. They don't have time to eat." Tang Bao didn't want to drink the drinks that Di Haotian bought, either. "I'm not drinking." Di Haotian naturally didn't get angry. He looked at her with his dark eyes and said, "You're not drinking. Do you want me to kiss you here?" Tang Bao was so scared that she immediately glared at him. "How dare you? There were so many people here. You wanted to kiss her? Was he crazy?" It didn't matter if it was a boy or a girl. Don't forget that she was a boy now. If someone took a picture of this, the headline would be, "A gay couple kissing passionately at a shopping mall." Would she still be able to live? Besides, she was still a member of the entertainment industry. Once it was reported, Tang Bao's scalp went numb at the thought of the consequences. She took the drink from Di Haotian's hand resentfully and turned to leave. She took a sip from the straw. It tasted sweet and sour. This taste made her slightly distracted. It was as if everything had gone back in time. She had gone shopping with Di Haotian. Tang Bao sighed inwardly. She felt that she had been thinking about the past too often recently. Only then did she realize that she still remembered so many things. She thought that she had forgotten most of them. Who knew that it wasn't that she had forgotten? It was just that there wasn't the right time and place to remind her. This kind of memory that was forcefully pulled out was really terrible. Tang Bao noticed that the two children were standing at the entrance of the amusement park and knew that they wanted to play. She had played there once before. Thinking back to that time, she still trembled with fear. At that time, she and Meng Shi had come. Tang Bao had already told Meng Shi not to go, but he insisted on following them. He said that she couldn't take care of the two children by herself and would definitely be flustered. Moreover, his way of coaxing the children was top-notch. Both Xiao Bao's children liked Meng Shi very much. In the end, Meng Shi was recognized by the crowd before they had even played for 10 minutes. If Meng Shi hadn't quickly distanced herself from the two children, the headlines would have been the breaking news that Meng Shi had taken her son and daughter to the amusement park. "Do you want to play?" "Let's go in," Tang Bao said. After everyone went in, they bought tickets and started playing. Chapter 711. There were two extremely cute children and two handsome men. One of them was handsome and noble, cold yet charming. His powerful aura was extremely attractive. The other was elegant and had a slender figure. His skin was fair and translucent, and his slightly blue eyes were clear and attractive. After buying the tickets, they walked to the amusement area and heard someone talking next to them. "These two people can't be big stars, right?" "I don't think so. I've never seen them before." "Which celebrity are they?" "I've never seen any of them on TV." "Oh my God, they're so handsome. Look at that little boy. He looks so much like that tall man. That must be his biological son." Bao seemed to have heard the discussions around him. He turned around with a cold look in his eyes. His gaze, which was different from that of other children his age, had an intimidating aura, causing those who were talking to shut up subconsciously. Xiao Bao was not someone who could hold back. She put her hands on her hips and said, "I heard everything you said. He's not my brother's son." Di Haotian was speechless. Tang Bao was speechless. "Who told you that? Why can't you sort out this messy relationship?" The people next to her were amused by her cuteness and asked, "Then who is he?" "That's Daddy." Those women laughed. Tang Bao's eyes widened. Xiao Bao did not know what was wrong with her words. She looked at Tang Bao pitifully. Tang Bao looked at the calm Di Haotian and asked Xiao Bao, "Who told you that?" "What? What Daddy?" "It's Daddy who said that. He said that Daddy is better than Uncle." "Isn't that Daddy?" "Because he's very good to me and my brother." "Daddy, am I right?" Xiao Bao naively understood. Tang Bao looked at Bao. Bao said, "I don't know at all." In other words, since Bao was not easy to fool, Di Haotian went to fool Xiao Bao. Tang Bao glared at Di Haotian. Di Haotian raised his eyebrows. "Am I not?" Tang Bao looked away guiltily. He did not want to argue with her, because she would definitely lose if he did. That was the truth. "All right, let's play. But do you think it's over?" After Xiao Bao's explanation, the women who were playing with their children but had a lot of time to spare seemed to have found an interesting topic to talk about. They kept chatting nonstop with guesses and surprise. One is daddy, and the other is daddy. Could this be the legendary homosexuality? That's right. Usually, surrogates are used for these kinds of children, right? The word surrogacy was deliberately lowered, but Tang Bao never knew that his ears were so sharp. He heard it clearly. These people really can't control their mouths. If they want to talk, why don't they talk further behind them? Why must I hear them? When those people were about to continue talking, Di Haotian swept a glance at them. It was so dark and scary that those gossipers trembled and immediately ran far away. They almost forgot to take their children with them. Tang Bao felt the panic on the other side and turned his head to look. Why did the people who were chattering just now all run away? Those who had to wait in line before could now play directly. What happened? Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian suspiciously. Di Haotian's expression was normal, as if he did not notice anything wrong at all. When the children were playing, Tang Bao reminded Di Haotian, "Can you not coax Xiao Bao? Her Bao is smart. I can only coax her." Tang Bao glared at him. Could it be that he was quite reasonable? But there was one thing he was right about. The two babies were only a few minutes apart, but it was obvious that Bao was calmer and smarter. It was not easy to trick him. This was not to say that Xiao Bao was not smart. Xiao Bao was the naive 3-year-old. It was just that Bao was too smart. He did not seem like a 3-year-old at all. Sometimes, Tang Bao even had the illusion that these two children were not the same age. Instead, Bao was a few years older. Most importantly, Bao was very good at thinking. After playing for an hour, Xiao Bao ran over happily during the break and hugged Tang Bao's leg. "Daddy, did you have fun?" Tang Bao caressed her rosy cheeks and asked in a pampering tone. "Yes, I'm very happy. I'm even happier than when Uncle Ming she brought us here last time." Xiao Bao still remembered. The smile on Tang Bao's face froze. He only felt that the atmosphere around him was a little oppressive, and the temperature suddenly dropped. Tang Bao knew very well where the air conditioner came from. She did not look at Di Haotian's expression. Bao looked at Di Haotian silently. He could clearly feel Di Haotian's emotions, and the atmosphere was not right. But why? Everything was fine just now. After coming out of the amusement park, they went to the supermarket. The two babies pushed the car in front. Tang Bao looked at the snacks on the shelves behind them. She did not buy snacks for her children because she knew that they were unhealthy. Only when one truly cared would one consider everything. "Why aren't you eating snacks?" Di Haotian stood behind her and asked. "You're not allowed to eat snacks. They're not healthy." Tang Bao's expression froze. She had just thought that only when one truly cared would one consider everything when he said such words. This reminded her of the time when she had just married Di Haotian. She liked to take the snacks on the shelves and throw them into the cart, and Di Haotian would take them out. Tang Bao lowered her gaze slightly. She did not want Di Haotian to see her inner emotions. "I'll make you a cake when we get back." Di Haotian's body was close to hers. His low and hoarse voice was right beside her ear. Tang Bao frowned at such a close distance. "Can you not come so close to me? There are many people watching in the supermarket." Also, who wanted to eat his cake? Di Haotian's dark eyes narrowed slightly. He turned his head and swept his gaze across the crowd. His terrifying gaze instantly made those curious people flee without a trace. There was not a single customer in the entire area. "There's no one now." Tang Bao was very impressed. She looked at the two children in front of her, especially Xiao Bao. She was almost drooling as she said, "If you don't want to buy, don't stay here." As she spoke, she turned away from Di Haotian's chest and walked forward. She pulled the two children to another area. Wow, so many dolls. When they reached the place where the toys were sold, Di Haotian pulled Tang Bao aside. "You don't have to follow them. Let them play by themselves. This is outside. They're only 3 years old." Tang Bao was displeased. He Ju and the others will watch over them. Tang Bao had forgotten that Di Haotian had countless bodyguards under him, so there was no need to worry about the children going missing. With so many layers of protection, It was definitely safer than Tang Bao watching over them personally. Chapter 712. Di Hao Yan's face stiffened slightly. Tang Bao felt relieved when he saw that. Just then, he heard what sounded like a child's quarrel. Tang Bao's heart tightened, and he immediately went over. He saw a 6 or 7-year-old girl bullying Xiao Bao in front of the shelf. The girl's mother stood in the distance and pretended not to see anything. Tang Bao was about to go forward when Di Hao Yan pulled him back. "What are you doing?" Tang Bao was puzzled. Di Hao Yan did not say anything and looked into the distance with his sharp eyes. The little girl's arrogant voice was heard. "Why do you have to snatch it from me? Do you know how much this doll costs? Can you afford it? Look at how poor you are. It's from a street stall. You can't afford it even if I gave it to you." But, Xiao Bao pursed her lips and leaned on her brother timidly. She was about to cry. She could not afford it and could not touch it. Bao's face was gloomy. He pursed his lips tightly and clenched his fists tightly. Tang Bao felt his heart ache when he saw that. The little girl was so arrogant because the adults were there. "Get away from me." The little girl became even more aggressive and went forward to push Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao stumbled backward, and Bao quickly caught her. At this moment, Bao saw Tang Bao and Di Hao Yan in the distance. Tang Bao was frowning. When he looked at Di Hao Yan gave him a look. Bao understood. He went forward and slapped the little girl's arrogant face. Then, he pushed her forcefully and the stunned little girl fell to the ground. The little girl did not expect to be pushed. She was so shocked that she lay on the ground and cried. At this moment, the adults quickly went forward and carried their daughter tenderly. Don't cry, don't cry. Whose child is this? She's so... If you dare to say the rest of your words, I'll make sure you die a horrible death." Di Hao Yan walked out. His expression was sinister and terrifying, and his eyes were filled with viciousness. The woman was shocked and couldn't say a word as she hugged the little girl. Tang Bao carried the 2 children and comforted them. Di Hao Yan grabbed the doll from the little girl's hand and gave it to Xiao Bao. "This is from Daddy. Take it." Tang Bao was very repulsed by the word Daddy. When Xiao Bao looked at her, she smiled and said, "Take it." Only then did Xiao Bao happily take it and hug in her arms, full of joy. You've gone too far." The woman was extremely scared, but she was also extremely angry. Di Hao Yan's eyes turned sharp. Scram! The woman took the little girl and ran away in a hurry. Tang Bao could only say that the woman was too unlucky to have provoked Di Hao Yan. She did not know what kind of person Di Hao Yan was. However, she felt that Di Hao Yan should not educate children like this. In the car, before she could say anything, Di Hao Yan spoke first. He asked her Bao, "Why don't you dare to fight?" Bao glanced at Tang Bao and did not say anything. Needless to say, Di Hao Yan also knew what was going on. Tang Bao, who was glanced at, felt very innocent. What was he doing? Was it wrong not to fight? Children should have a correct outlook on life. It's okay. If you encounter such things in the future, don't hesitate. If you can solve it with your fists, don't talk nonsense. Di Hao Yan educated his son. Tang Bao widened his eyes and hurriedly stopped him. Di Hao Yan, how can you teach a child like this? Bao, I'm telling you, don't listen to him, okay? Looking at Bao's clear but somewhat disappointed eyes, he took a step back. All right, you did well today. However, don't do such things in the future. It's not good to become a habit. Daddy, I won't, Bao said. Tang Bao smiled. To be honest, today's matter was very satisfying, but it was still not good to educate children like this. Di Hao Yan looked at Bao, who was sitting on top of him, and then at Xiao Bao, who was asleep in Tang Bao's arms. Finally, his gaze fell on Tang Bao. To him, he only wanted them to be unharmed. He was not so merciful as to other things. Bao raised his head slightly and looked at Di Hao Yan. He realized that Di Hao Yan was staring at his father. Although this person was sometimes very annoying, he felt that he was not bad in certain aspects. For example, today's fight. He had wanted to go up and beat someone up for a long time, but because his father did not allow fighting, he had been holding back. However, this person allowed him to do so and even encouraged him. This made him feel a little happy. It made him feel closer to this unfamiliar uncle. Di Haoyan came out of the bathroom after taking a shower and saw Erbao standing at the door. Erbao also hesitated for a long time before standing there. Although he was a child, he was also hesitant. It was not easy for a proud person like him to come to this step. Di Haoyan walked over as he dried his hair. "Why aren't you sleeping?" He was waiting for him. "Will you be good to my father?" Erbao asked. Di Haoyan thought that he would ask about the incident at the supermarket, but he did not expect this. He stopped drying his hair and said, "Yes." "Why? Is it because you know each other?" "Because she is the most important person in my heart." Erbao nodded like a little adult and said, "Although I want to acknowledge you, you are still observing." With that, he turned and went back into the house. Di Haoyan raised his eyebrows. "You want to observe? Wait until I deal with your mother, then I will deal with you." At night, they slept on the same bed. Tang Bao had no way to refute. She would be the one who lost in the end anyway. She obediently nestled in Di Haoyan's arms. The room was quiet. Only the rhythm of their heartbeats could be heard, but it was a little unusual. Tang Bao remembered what He said, that Di Haoyan's insomnia was very serious. How serious was it? Tang Bao closed her eyes and did not fall asleep for a long time. She wanted to know if Di Haoyan could sleep. If he had insomnia, why did he keep hugging her like this? "Can't sleep?" Di Haoyan's voice came from above her head. It was his usual low and hoarse voice. Tang Bao's heartbeat became unsteady. She deliberately did not move, but he still found out that she was pretending to be asleep. "You're not asleep either," Tang Bao retorted. Di Haoyan kissed her fragrant hair. "Do you want me to help you fall asleep?" Tang Bao frowned. "Help her fall asleep?" "Ow!" Of course, by doing some things that we used to do. Tang Bao had personally experienced this so-called thing before, and she did not want to relive it at all. Her face was slightly hot, and she said, "No need." Tang Bao closed her eyes. Di Haoyan had been sleeping on her bed for a few days. Other than kissing, he did not do anything overboard. If it were not for Di Haoyan's unusually strong and violent reaction, she would really suspect that Di Haoyan could really control himself. Chapter 713. It was dangerous and unsettling. Tang Bao did not know when she had fallen asleep, just as she did not know how she had woken up in the middle of the night. She opened her eyes slightly and realized that Di Haoyan was awake. She did not need to look into Di Haoyan's eyes to know that his breathing was very calm, but his thin lips moved against her hair very gently. If Tang Bao had not been awake, she would not have been woken up at all. Tang Bao raised her head and met Di Haoyan's dark eyes. Di Haoyan's expression froze for a moment. "Why are you awake? Are you feeling hot?" Tang Bao looked at the dark circles under his eyes. "You can't sleep." "I'm awake." Tang Bao sat up in his arms. Her eyes were a little dry because she had woken up early. She held her face and rubbed her eyes again. "Are you not feeling well?" Di Haoyan covered her eyes with his large hand to ease her discomfort. "Why do you have insomnia?" Tang Bao pulled his hand down and looked at him with her clear eyes. "I'm feeling much better now. Do you think I'm stupid? You haven't slept all night." Tang Bao glared at him. "Do you feel sorry for me?" Di Haoyan looked at her with his dark eyes. They were so sharp that they seemed to penetrate into her soul. Tang Bao turned her face away. "I'm just stating the facts." What did he mean by feeling sorry for her? He was thinking too much. He hugged her but did not sleep. She was not that kind of selfish person. Moreover, didn't he find it strange? Di Haoyan pulled Tang Bao onto his body with one hand and laid her down. He bent over slightly and buried his face in the hollow of her neck. "Okay, I'll give it a try." Tang Bao's body stiffened. She was stunned by Di Haoyan's actions. He really could not sleep. If that was the case, then did his insomnia have anything to do with her? She was clearly right in front of him. "Why can't I fall asleep?" For some reason, Tang Bao lifted her hand and placed it on Di Haoyan's broad shoulder. She paused and ran her fingers through his thick black hair. Bao. Di Hao Ian's voice sounded like he was trying to suppress his emotions. Tang Bao's heart was throbbing painfully. Why did calling her name make her feel uncomfortable? Should she be soft-hearted? No, she couldn't. She didn't want to go back to those painful days. It was enough for her to experience it once in her life. Di Hao Ian, who was sleeping on the bed, suddenly opened his eyes. The person in his arms was no longer there. His black eyes were red with rage. He got out of bed, quickly opened the door, and rushed out. Tang Bao, who was accompanying the two babies in the living room, was stunned when he saw the person who rushed out like a rocket. The three pairs of eyes simultaneously looked at Di Hao Ian, who was not even wearing shoes. After a moment of silence, Tang Bao said calmly, "You're awake? Breakfast is ready. I've saved some for you." Di Hao Ian suppressed the rage in his black eyes. He did not say anything and turned to enter the room. Tang Bao did not take it seriously. Just as she was about to continue talking to the two babies, she heard a bang coming from the room. She could not help but frown. What was going on? She comforted the two babies first. "It's okay. Something might have fallen. I'll go take a look." With that, she stood up and went to the room. As soon as she opened the door, she was dragged in. Tang Bao was caught off guard. The door was slammed shut, and she was thrown against the door. In the next second, Di Hao Ian's face was infinitely enlarged in front of Tang Bao. Tang Bao did not have time to defend herself, and her freedom was taken away. Tang Bao did not dare to struggle too much. She was afraid that the two babies would hear her because of the poor sound insulation. However, her worries were in vain because every part of her body was pressed against the door. It was as if she was nailed and could not move at all. The reality was as domineering as ever. Tang Bao felt the throbbing in the depths of her heart. At the same time, she felt uneasy. Di Hao Ian let go. Tang Bao's face was red and her whole body was weak. She turned her face away forcefully. However, Di Hao Ian violently clamped her chin with one hand, lifted her face, and forced her to face him. Then, he pressed down on her again. Tang Bao's lungs were almost empty of oxygen. If it were not for Di Hao Ian's strength supporting her, she would have fallen to the ground. If the babies saw this, how could they educate them properly? Tang Bao panted rapidly, sucking in the oxygen in the air. Her eyes were misty and she was dizzy. When she finally managed to catch her breath, the pain in her shoulder cleared her mind in advance. She said weakly, "Di Hao Ian, don't be like this." She felt Di Hao Ian's fury and fierceness. It was as if he was eager to swallow her whole. Di Hao Ian's movements paused. His breathing was extremely heavy. She could not see the expression on his face. Only his hoarse voice could be heard. "I thought you disappeared just like 3 years ago." You disappeared. Tang Bao's heart sank. It was as if a hand was grabbing it and pulling it down. It was heavy and very uncomfortable. 3 years ago, that soul-stirring separation, the long moment when she fell from the plane, and the suffocating feeling when she was wrapped in water, was something she would never forget for the rest of her life. It was not an exaggeration to say that she had already died once. However, Di Hao Ian, can't you just treat me as if I'm dead? Di Hao Ian raised his face, and his gaze fell on her red and swollen lips. Di Hao Ian's face came closer to Tang Bao. He treated her gently, as if he was comforting her. His voice was rough but gentle. It was hot but oppressive. Di Hao Ian's black eyes seemed to still have red veins left, but he was very focused. It was as if a wild beast was licking its wounds. Tang Bao felt that the atmosphere in the air had become strange. The skin on her face was abnormally hot. "You? What are you doing? Why didn't you wake me up?" Di Hao Ian asked in a hoarse voice. "Why would I wake you up? Aren't you suffering from insomnia? Shouldn't you sleep a little more?" Tang Bao saw the exposed skin and frowned angrily. "Look at your masterpiece." Di Hao Ian did not pay attention to her clothes. This was the result of his impulsiveness. His rough fingers landed on her skin. "Does it hurt?" It hurts so much." Tang Bao was, of course, not in a lot of pain. She was just frightened by Di Hao Ian's madness. "Then I'll blow on it." Di Hao Ian pretended to blow on her skin. Although Di Hao Ian looked innocent and cute, Tang Bao did not dare to let down her guard at all. Tang Bao was so scared that she immediately covered her shoulder. Don't do anything rash. She tidied up her clothes and planned to go out to eat with the babies. Di Hao Ian looked at her guarded look. His dark eyes were slightly mysterious. He leaned closer and pressed his strong nose against her cheek. His voice was hoarse. What if I want to do something rash? Only then can I have you completely. Baby, it's been 3 years. I've finally waited for you. In these 3 years, I've been thinking about you all the time. I don't want to. Tang Bao turned her face away, her heart beating faster. This person's words were really strange. He wanted to have her just because he wanted her. He made it sound so nice. She was not 18 years old. Did he think she was still so gullible? I can't wait to be with you all the time. Chapter 714. Tang Bao's ears turned red, and she closed her eyes. She was going crazy inside. Was there an end to this? I want to say sweet things to you. I've stored up 3 years of longing. Do you want it? What the hell? Tang Bao could not help but open her eyes slightly. Unfortunately, she could understand the evil meaning behind Di Hao Ian's words. But, you haven't had a woman for 3 years? Tang Bao asked doubtfully. For the past 3 years, I've missed you very much. I'm telling the truth. Tang Bao stared blankly at Di Hao Ian's deep eyes. His gaze was sharp and deep, and she really could not tell what was wrong. However, Di Hao Ian's heart was not something that she could see through at her level. As a possessive man that Tang Bao knew, Di Hao Ian said that he had not touched a woman for 3 years. Even if she was beaten to death, she would not believe it. However, she would never test whether it was true or not. Thus, she said perfunctorily, I believe you. There's no need to test. How could Di Hao Ian not see through her thoughts? He kissed her lips and said, I'll make you believe me. Tang Bao did not say anything. She pursed her lips, which had been touched again, and glared at Di Hao Ian. She thought to herself, I don't need to believe you. You won't have the chance to prove it either. Tang Bao did not want to face Di Hao Ian again. She always felt that he was like a ticking time bomb that would explode in her body at any time. She turned to open the door and quickly ran out. Daddy, what's wrong with you? Xiao Bao asked. What do you mean what's wrong? Tang Bao did not understand. My lips are swollen again. Tang Bao felt that she could not face her 2 babies anymore. There's a bug in the room. I got bitten. Tang Bao touched her lips and said. The children could see the abnormality of her lips. Di Hao Ian was really there. Did my bug bite you? Di Hao Ian appeared behind her and asked evilly in her ear. Tang Bao was so frightened that he took a big step back. He frowned and looked at him warily. This person was really... She couldn't avoid it anymore, could she? Meng Shi ran to Cheng Ju's crew early in the morning. After arriving, Cheng Ju was practicing with the male lead, so he sat there and enjoyed it. She nodded her head in satisfaction. Your acting skills are not bad. You're still not as good as mine. Cheng Ju and the male lead were filming an emotional scene. Her delicate little face was filled with hidden emotions. Even if it wasn't in front of the camera, it still made people feel emotional. Meng Shi thought of his first love again. Where could he find her in this vast sea of people? She could only find Tengu to relieve her lovesickness. But why wasn't Tengu here yet when he had an appointment with him? Wasn't she never late? Was she going to stand him up? After Cheng Ju finished filming, she saw Meng Shi and walked over in surprise. Why are you here? Are you flattered? Meng Shi asked like a master, his peach blossom eyes shining. Cheng Ju exposed him. Didn't you come because Brother Tang is coming? Meng Shi's expression froze. Then, he sighed and stood up. He reached out and hooked his arm around Cheng Ju's neck. Even so, you're still benefiting from it, understand? You, let go of me. Cheng Ju's neck was so choked that she couldn't breathe. When the director saw the interaction between Meng Shi and Cheng Ju, his eyes were filled with hatred. Then, he clapped his hands and said to the actor, have breakfast, rest for a while, and continue working. While Meng Shi was stunned, Cheng Ju broke away from him and ignored him. She was about to walk forward when Meng Shi pulled her back. What are you doing? Did you film a night scene? Don't you need to sleep? Meng Shi asked. Could it be that this ugly guy bullied you? Even if Cheng Ju knew that Wang Xiaodao was deliberately making things difficult for her, she couldn't say anything. She was already very happy to get this role. It's nothing. You think too much. Everyone else is the same as me. There's nothing special about it. That's good. If I find out that he did it on purpose, see how I deal with him. Cheng Ju thought to herself, I just knew that you would mess with people, so I didn't dare to say anything. Brother Tang may come in a while. Why don't you come in with me for a cup of coffee? I need to refresh myself so that I won't be sleepy later. Cheng Ju asked. Meng Shi looked at the time and said, all right. As soon as Cheng Ju sat down, Meng Shi's assistant handed her a box of breakfast, which contained sandwiches and other Western food. It's just right for coffee. Don't say that I don't have a favor. This small portion is yours, and a large portion is Brother Tang's. You don't eat? Cheng Ju asked. I've gained 2 pounds recently. Meng Shi looked away with a face full of bitterness. Well, I ate it and came over. As they were talking, other actors came in. Although Yao Yao didn't get the role of the heroine, Cheng Yuexin stuffed another actress, Tsang Xiaowei, to play the supporting actress. Tsang Xiaowei and others came in. Tsang Xiaowei, Feng Yu, the supporting actor, and Zhang Kiki, the third supporting actress, sat at the same table. Feng Yu was originally the leading actor. Later, he didn't know what happened, but he was replaced by the popular star, Miao Qi. Now the people at the table look at Cheng Ju with their own resentment and hatred. Tsang Xiaowei, needless to say, can't have a good face because of Cheng Yuexin. Zhang Ki's heart is more envious and jealous. Because Cheng Ju's fame was not as good as hers before, not to mention that she had been banned. Now she has become a heroine, and it's such a big palace drama. How can she not be jealous? Cheng Ju is eating breakfast and drinking coffee, and she ignores the eyes of others. As for Meng Shi, he promised Tango that he wouldn't make trouble. Wasn't he just looked at a few more times with vicious eyes? He can bear it. Tsang Xiaowei is drinking coffee, but her eyes are thinking of a bad idea. Dead Coffee stood up and pretended to pour more coffee. But when she passes by Cheng Ju, she deliberately tilts her head. Ouch! Then the coffee in her hand was poured on Cheng Ju, who couldn't dodge in time. Cheng Ju hurriedly stands up and keeps wiping the coffee on her clothes. This is a costume. If it gets dirty and delays the shooting, the director will get angry. What are you doing? Meng Shi's face is angry. Why are you so fierce? Didn't I accidentally fall down and get the coffee on her? Tsang Xiaowei said disdainfully. Accidentally? Such a wide road. When passing by, she has to be so close to their table. Is it by accident? Doesn't Tsang Xiaowei have any idea in her heart? Forget it. Cheng Ju pulled Meng Shi and whispered, Don't make trouble for Brother Tang. As soon as Meng Shi heard Brother Tang, his anger immediately extinguished a lot. Tsang Xiaowei saw that they didn't dare to say anything and thought they were afraid of her. Originally, it was a female star who was nothing but wanted to be the protagonist. Although the other was famous, her reputation was not very good. Chapter 7:15. However, Meng Shi and Cheng Ju's forbearance made Tsang Xiaowei even more arrogant. Tsang Xiaowei looked at the coffee in her cup. This time, she directly poured all the coffee on Cheng Ju's head. The coffee dripped down the chest of her costume. Her clothes were completely stained by the coffee and could not be looked at anymore. Meng Shi could not believe that this woman was looking for trouble to this extent. He sat there with a cold face and did not move, but his hands were clenched into fists. Oh, my foot slipped just now. Now, my hand slipped. I'm sorry. Tsang Xiaowei concealed the pride in her heart and said hypocritically. Then, without looking at them, she turned around and returned to her seat. Cheng Ju had not cleaned the coffee stains on her body with a cloth when the figure opposite her flashed. Before he could stop Meng Shi had already walked to another table. He poured the full cup of coffee in his hand on Tsang Xiaowei's head. Tsang Xiaowei was stunned at first, then she screamed. Feng Yulu saw injustice and pushed Meng Shi. What are you doing? Are you blind? Can't you see what I'm doing? Do I need you to speak for this B asterisk TCH? Meng Shi roared. Then, with a bang, he smashed the coffee cup. Tsang Xiaowei came back to her senses and screamed. Meng Shi, you're too presumptuous. You actually splashed coffee on me? What's wrong with splashing it on you? I've disliked you for a long time. Do you understand? Meng Shi pointed at her face and said. Zhang Kuku also spoke up for Tsang Xiaowei. Meng Shi, even if you're famous, you shouldn't bully people like this. I'm bullying people. So what? Bite me? If you don't want to be bullied, you have to control your own virtue first. Do you think I don't know what you idiots are thinking? If you want to be the female lead or the male lead, as long as I, Meng Shi, am here, you can forget about making a comeback. Do you understand? Meng Shi was not just a little bit arrogant. Tsang Xiaowei was so angry that she cried. She cried until the makeup on her face was ruined. Meng Shi clicked his tongue and looked at her. Who are you crying for? Don't cry. You're already ugly. If you cry, you won't need makeup to play Zhong Wuyan. I just hope that Zhong Wuyan can be the female lead. Idiot. Who was Tsang Xiaowei crying for? Of course, she was crying for the camera to see. Zhang Kuku was taking a video with her phone. It was all about how Meng Shi bullied Tsang Xiaowei. Monzi, look at what I'm filming. Do you want to know the consequences if I release this video to the public? Zhang Kuku sneered. Chengju was about to snatch it when Zhang Kuku dodged him. Meng Shi pulled Chengju back. Let her take it. No matter how clear you take it, I'm not afraid. But Chengju was extremely worried. If there was something wrong with her, it would be fine, but if Meng Shi was wrong because of her, that would be too wrong. Moreover, how was he going to explain this to Tango? Not only was Meng Shi not worried, his arrogance grew even higher. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. Meng Shi shouted at the top of his lungs. Feng Yu really wanted to fight with him. Chengju stood at the side and watched as Tsang Xiaowei approached her. Then, she raised her hand and slapped her face. On the other side, Meng Shi couldn't care less. Just as the slap was about to land on Chengju's face, Tsang Xiaowei's wrist was grabbed and she was suspended in the air. Chengju was shocked. She turned around and was immediately overjoyed. Brother Tang. Tang Bao looked at Tsang Xiaowei with an extremely sharp gaze. You want to hit someone? Did you ask for my permission? Tsang Xiaowei was so shocked by Tang Bao's cold gaze that she shrank back. She retracted her hand and was still trying to free herself. Brother Tang, you can't blame me for this. Everyone else saw it. Meng Shi was the one who attacked first. There's even a video to prove it. That's right. Tang Gu, although you're a little famous in the agent circle, you can't be too unreasonable, right? I have a video here to prove it. How about this? If Meng Shi and Chengju apologize to us, we'll let it go. Otherwise, if it's published online, you'll be in big trouble. If they apologized, wouldn't they admit that Meng Shi's side was at fault? It was just an apology. In fact, it wasn't a big deal. Chengju felt that with Tang Ji's cautiousness, he would definitely choose to apologize. Because once this video was published, the consequences could be imagined. Not only Meng Shi and Chengju, but Tang Gu would also be in trouble. It was clear at a glance which was more important. Then you can announce it. I have no problem. Tang Bao lightly swept the non-existent dust on his cuffs. Chengju looked at Tang Bao in surprise. He was surprised by Tang Bao's answer. As soon as Meng Shi heard this, he went forward to hug Tang Bao. Tang Bao poked him in the chest with a finger to stop him from approaching. Although he was refused a hug, the smile on Meng Shi's face couldn't stop. Good, you're so powerful. I like this side of you. No compromise at all. The three people were happy to put the video on, especially Tsang Xiaowei. If she vented her anger for Cheng Yuexin would value her more. Tang Bao looked at Tsang Xiaowei before he left. The glow in his eyes was obvious. Outside, Chengju was very worried. Brother Tang, don't you know what's in the video? After asking, he looked at Meng Shi, who was in a good mood. Look again and dig out your eyes. Meng Shi was fierce. Tang Bao. Chengju ignored him, turned his face, and continued to say to Tang Bao, there was a conflict just now. Meng Shi poured coffee on Tsung Xiaoyi's head and said a lot of presumptuous words. If this video is really uploaded online, what will happen? Let's do it. I like the way those people hate me and can't kill me. Meng Shi was in a good mood. Chengju looked at him with a sad face. Still looking? You don't want your eyes, do you? Chengju rolled his eyes and didn't want to talk to him. Tang Bao was accustomed to this kind of quarreling man. Okay, Chengju, you could do a good job. Don't worry about anything else. Meng Shi, you study the script for me. If anything goes wrong, you're the only one to blame. Chengju thought, should he be the one to do the video? Tsung Xiaoyi's gang would definitely upload the video. But Tanga didn't seem to worry at all. Could it be that he still had a trick up his sleeve? Chengju still wanted to ask something, but Meng Shi beat him to it and pulled him away. Go, have you eaten? I'll take you to eat. I've already eaten. After Tang Bao finished, Meng Shi looked like he had lost favor. Tang Bao didn't bother to pay attention to him. He walked to Wang Xiaodao, who was watching the film on the other side, and handed it to him. Director Wang, I know you like hot cake, so I brought it to you. Wang Xiaodao glanced at it and smiled. Agent Tang, it's very kind. Chapter 716. Not bad. Tang Bao saw that Wang Xiaodao was ignoring him and knew that he was angry about something. He did not care too much, but he still had to put on a show. At least Wang Xiaodao's reply was not bad and not making things difficult for her. It seemed that her bribe was still useful. Tang Bao got into the car. Meng Shi did not sit in his own car and squeezed into hers. However, after getting in, he did not say anything. It was rare that he did not bother her. However, when he held his phone, he could not help but sneer. Tang Bao looked at his expression and asked, Has the video been uploaded? You really can't wait. Meng Shi said disdainfully. You can just push all the blame on me. Good, don't get involved. Anyway, it's not the first time I've been attacked. Aren't I still famous now? Tang Bao admitted that this was true. His phone rang. It was Chengju. Tang Bao answered. Chengju's voice was a little anxious. Brother Tang, the video has really been uploaded. I've already seen it. Let them do it. I said that you just need to focus on filming. Don't worry about anything else. Do you believe me? I do. Chengju's voice was without hesitation. Tang Bao's lips curled into a smile. And just focus on filming. Yes. Chengju believed in Tang Bao's ability. Otherwise, how could she have a chance to make a comeback after being frozen for so many years? It was all because of Tang Bao's ability. However, she was still worried because this incident was more serious than any of the previous ones. Meng Shi played with his phone and looked at Tang Bao's calm face. That's how it should be. Treat them like a fart. The more anxious you are, the happier they will be. As long as I'm here, nothing will happen. Tang Bao was silent and looked out the car window. This was very interesting. Why do you have to stop it? It would be best if the bigger the better. Don't do anything about this. If I find out, I won't let you off, Tang Bao said as he retracted his gaze from the window. Meng Shi, who had been exposed, was immediately indignant. Why? I can't fight back? As long as you behave yourself, you'll be doing me a favor. Meng Shi's face was filled with displeasure. Tang Bao did not say anything else. She knew that Meng Shi had a bad temper, but she still listened to her. When Tang Bao arrived at the company, he took out his mobile phone and looked at the video and the comments under it. Both her and her artist Weibo were also filled with criticism. I've never seen such an arrogant artist. How brainless are Meng Shi's fans? How did his parents raise him? I might as well stuff it back into my stomach and reconstruct it, lest I embarrass myself. I thought Meng Shi had a bad temper, but I didn't expect his character to be so bad. Who does he think he is to bully an actor who is not as good as him? He must be blind. Yao Yao is such a good and popular star. She's the female lead in every movie, but she was actually taken by a second-rate actor who was once shelved. I don't even need to think about it. It must be the unspoken rules. In this day and age, the unspoken rules trump everything. I definitely won't watch this show once it's released. I'd rather eat shit. Even a live broadcast of eating shit is better than a TV show with Chung Ju as the main character. Let's boycott this movie together. There was a commotion below. Tang Bao raised her eyebrows slightly. This was so interesting. Someone actually wanted to eat shit. She also felt that a live broadcast of eating shit was better than a TV show. The phone next to her rang. Tang Bao glanced at it. It was Liang Jichao. Hello, Mr. Liang. Tang Ge, you know that I've always thought highly of you and handed over the company to you to manage. In the end, tell me, how did this happen? Liang Jichao's disappointed and heartbroken voice sounded. Tang Bao felt that Liang Jichao should also be an actor, and a capable one at that. His character could be seen from the fact that he had an affair with an artist behind his pregnant wife's back. Of course, it didn't matter if he had a mistress or not. However, a person like Liang Jichao was not only bad, but also cunning. What did he mean by handing over the entire company to her? It was clearly a subsidiary company that was about to close down. He looked down on her ability and had no background, so he threw her over to fend for herself. Did he think that she didn't know? I'm sorry, CEO Liang. I've only just found out about the video. I'm lecturing them in the office right now. They're all so troublesome. They ignore my words, Tang Bao said to the air. Meng Shi, who was lying on the sofa leisurely, glanced at Tang Bao. Her eyes were filled with fondness, and the more she looked at him, the more she liked him. There was no one else who was more to her liking. Since you know about it, you must have seen the sensation on Weibo, right? How can you let your own artist appear on the trending searches with negative influence? Is that okay? Liang Jichao did not dare to criticize Meng Shi, but he still dared to say something to Tang Bao, who had no background. It's very bad, but don't worry, Mr. Liang. I will definitely deal with this matter. Deal with it? Don't you know the seriousness of the matter? Now, everyone is attacking Meng Shi and your agent. Meng Shi's fans have disappeared from tens of millions. Can you imagine the impact on the company? Liang Jichao asked. Tang Bao did not continue to argue for himself. Instead, he heard something and asked, What do you mean, Mr. Liang? Come to the company for a meeting first. This matter must be dealt with immediately. Yes. Tang Bao hung up the phone and began to deal with the work at hand as usual. He was not dealing with the video, but looking at the script that Meng Shi had taken over. Have you read the script? Tang Bao asked without looking up. Meng Shi blinked his eyes guiltily. Tang Bao looked up. Meng Shi hid his guilt and said confidently, What? Do you think I still have a chance to shoot a film at this time? Just as Meng Shi finished speaking, Assistant Director Chen Xian called. I'm sorry, Tang Ge. We can't do anything about this. If we can't even pass the review, everyone will be the ones to lose. Don't you think so? Let's meet later to talk. Chen Xian agreed and hung up the phone. How is it? Am I right? But it's okay. If I can't survive in the entertainment industry, I'll just go home and inherit my family fortune. Meng Shi thought of something and ran over excitedly. He leaned on the desk, the position closest to Tang Bao. Why don't you come with me? You could be the president, and I'll be the secretary. How about that? Why don't you say that you want me to replace your father? After Tang Bao asked, he saw that Meng Shi was really considering it. This person, okay, I'll kick my father out. I'll inherit the family fortune, and then you'll arrange my family fortune. How about that? Is there something wrong with your brain? Go. You don't know, but I really like you more and more now. It's already beyond gender. But you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.